Um, all right, let's hop to it. What do we got? What do we got? So last session, party fought a dastardly battle against Kronos, against Atlas, a battle that was hard fought, not easily won, one where you found yourselves um, kind of struggling to complete the battle. And the gods themselves were having difficulty fighting it, as these are the two most potent of the gods, the god of might and the god of time, two very great and powerful entities. Um, in the course of that battle, you all found a remark was made by Kronos to Zeus about how these new gods were not ready, and you were all funneled through time to another place. You found yourself at this very tall building, and it was brought to your attention that this is the city of Los Damien, whatever that means. Um, Thalia made contact with an old friend who seems to not know who any of you are. Leonis seems to be here, and flirted with the unknown beauty that was Thalia, and remarked that they should meet on 16th Street at some place called Starbucks. And other than that, you guys kind of milled your way around the place and tried to figure it out. Katara made some keen, uncovered some keen secrets for the power of prophecy. And that is where we find ourselves today. You are at the top of this loft in the late evening. What would the Demithots like to do?
Okay, I have an idea. Alicia says to the others, yeah, we're gonna need some information about all this. And does she see any at all pigeons or birds around?
Uh, I think at this height, I don't think so.
Okay then. Okay. Okay. Okay,
Well,
okay.
once we get down to the ground level, one's gonna shit on your shoulder.
There's more crashing sounds from the kitchen as Ouroboros attempts to use these uh, strange pieces of glass pottery with his momentous strength.
Yeah. Why do I need to touch the button? I want the fucking food cooked.
That's actually really funny. What's so hard to understand?
Where's the
Meanwhile,
fire?
Gyasi, you haven't seen Gyasi in a minute. Gyasi, you're still in this glass box with the glowy buttons. Ding!
You have
The
been
door
imprisoned.
opens and these people walk in. I think they don't mind you too much, but you see these two demons walk in. Like clearly,
Oh.
clear as day, demons. Red skinned, like pointy horns, leathery wings. But they're all dressed in like kind of like droopy, lengthy clothing and pants, which is crazy. They walk in, they go, "Hey, how's it going?" And then they look at the button, they look at the array of buttons you click, and they kind of like look at each other like, I don't know. Like, you know what, we're gonna take the stairs. And they walk out, and the door closes, and you continue your very slow descent. So anything you'd like to do?
What occupation did those guys look like they were? Like software developers or
You don't know. You don't know how the future works. Is there anything on your end, Gyasi, you'd like to do, or are you just riding this wave?
I am perplexed, so probably just going to continue to ride. Bing, 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 bing.
Yeah, you ride it all the way to the bottom. Um, Final door opens, and you see this like really nice lobby. Apparently wood is in. The ground is like this like very varnished, polished wood. The walls look like a really like cheap marble, like more like a grayish kind of not as nice colored rock. And yeah, you can wander out if you want, or you can try and find your. Or I imagine you probably just fly back up, huh?
Yeah, if I can get outside the building, I will just fly back to the top.
Yeah, you walk through, and someone's like, "Hey, Sumunapi, Musa Wurat," in behind like this desk. This one woman with like small red horns, sort of just speaks at you in her strange language. Yeah, you walk out. You walk onto the street. There's people walking by in really odd clothing. You see like no humanoids, to be clear. There's no humans or elves or dwarves. All you see are like monstrous creatures, demon creatures, devilish creatures, sort of wandering around, and they all kind of walk by you, looking at how you're dressed, like what the hell. And then you just fly upward. They don't really seem to mind terribly. These people down below, and you will find your way back to the roof.
Okie dokie. Well, that was illuminating.
What did you see?
I didn't see any people. I mean, I saw people, but I didn't see any humans. No elves, no dwarves. They were all demons or minotaurs or things. Which means I didn't stand out too terrible badly, but y'all look at Ouroboros, look at Thalia. May need a disguise.
That won't be an issue for me, and I will change my appearance to a tabaxi, like Yasi.
Cool, you turn into a wicked cat girl.
Turn
into
because it's disguised self, and I don't know if like a tail would like technically.
Yeah. I'll say sure, because if it's disguised self, sure, you get it. But if anyone tries to interact with it, their hands.
Yeah, don't try to knock things off with your tail.
Yeah, you become 2004's Halle Berry's Catwoman in this moment. I imagine.
Sounds like,
but no,
sounds
you
like
become an actual tabaxi. Yeah, for sure.
2004 Halle Berry Catwoman. That sounds like a curse, not a spell.
I think it sounds oddly specific, Ryan.
I'm a film major, man. What are you gonna tell me? What am I gonna
That's
do?
fair. That's fair. What are you gonna do? I'm a film major.
What am I gonna do? Film me. I'm walking here.
I got debts to pay here.
Noted. I found out that New Yorkers don't like it when you try to do that.
Yeah, I imagine not.
Yeah. They don't like that.
Oh, how original of you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What's next? What's next for you guys?
I'm probably like 3 rounds into initiative with a toaster.
Oh yeah. Damn, it's taking you that long to defeat a toaster.
How do I defeat this? Yeah, it's his greatest foe.
Doesn't feel pain.
I'm powerless here.
Boss, what are you messing with?
I have no idea.
But it is powerful.
Is this one of Hephaestus's creations?
Far worse.
Was oh my.
This would never grace the mind of Hephaestus.
Ugh. Yeah, toss it away.
Off the side of the.
Yeah. He does like a fatality. He does
Yeah.
like a fatality of the toaster and just like puts his hands in the thing as he's getting like electrocuted, and then just fucking rips it apart. And then he. Anyway, I made this kind of slightly burnt bread with it. So very slightly burnt. It's almost perfect. How unburnt but burnt it is.
It's almost like a perfectly browned grilled cheese, but in the bottom right corner is just like a little too black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we have sliced bread back in ancient Greece?
I don't.
Only if you cut it
Sure.
yourself.
Only
Yeah.
if you cut it yourself. That's right.
Yeah, the bread already came pre-sliced. It was crazy.
Okay. As Thalia said, she has a disguise. I can easily hide myself as a bird or a cat. What are we gonna do for Katara and Ouroboros?
I am not human.
Yasi, did you see any of Ouroboros' people down there?
Do I not look monstrous enough?
Galsi, why don't you make me a perception check to see if while you were on the street you scanned any giants?
They're on the south side, most likely. So you.
That'll be
you
a
probably wouldn't-
32.
Jesus fucking Christ. You spot whatever the hell you want to spot. Yeah, you see you saw a giant or two. You saw at least one half ogre. Some kind of like not quite an ogre, but still monstrously appearing. And then maybe it was like a couple streets down, but yeah, you saw like a stone. No, not them. You would have seen like a fire giant kind of lumber through, not in armor, in a tie, and just kind of
fucking tux.
yeah, pretty much just kind of like dressed up, lumbering through. It's worth noting that the streets aren't like exactly like modern day. Like the sidewalks are fairly wide. And the buildings are pretty tall, and doorways in certain buildings are larger than others.
Giants, cars.
I don't think there's any giant cars.
Yeah, it's just Hummers
Just Hummers.
with like one row of seats. That's enough.
Exactly. So yeah, you saw a giant or two down there.
There was some pretty decent size. Yeah, looked like the fire giants that we rolled with
Bigger than me.
right now.
He kind of shakes his head. And then he reaches his hand through the see-through door of the refrigerator and like breaks the fucking plastic that's there,
Yeah.
and fucking grabs some liquid that he finds,
Okay,
and then he just drinks it.
it's milk. Like cow milk, though it tastes weird.
Well,
You're used to
it
goat
wasn't-
milk because it's
it was
grease.
it
Just
was a
expired?
minotaur, so
Yeah.
just saying.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Oh,
It's a good point. Oh. We'll say
I
it's
can't
like
get enough
yak.
of mom's milk.
Oh fuck. We'll say it was like yak milk. No, it's almond milk. It's fucking almond milk for sure. It's like
Is-
it's like unsweetened vanilla almond milk. It's not bad. It's okay.
There's like that initial like, what the fuck is this?
Do I like this?
I think I do.
so. Yeah, no, I will. Yeah.
On
Juice, the elixir of the gods.
if I'm gonna just go to kind of the roof line and just kind of I'm just gonna take sort of a scan around the building and see if in any specific distance. I don't know why I'm doing this because I'm not good at perception, but I just want to see if is there like a forest in any direction that's like I can tell, or is it concrete jungle?
Make me a perception check.
The nature was relegated to a gated community known as Central Park.
I'm not very good at that. I don't know why I tried. 10.
10. No, you don't see any. You see that like you're in like a valley. You do see like off in the distance that there is like a coast. There is water,
Mhm.
but surrounding you is much like Sparta. There is like mountains that surround you.
Right. So yeah, she'll kind of look to Gyasi and Thalia and everybody else who's kind of kicking around. Just sort of the fates seem to well, they've indicated there's more enemies than friends here. But that we should try to find the druids. There
Okay.
seems to be some that remain, but we'll need help to get home.
The druids are here? In a place like this?
And somewhere.
Like, I get up along with Katara and look out across the city, the skyline, to see where the most amount of nature would be.
Maybe a perception check.
Okay. Bring it up.
I'm actually gonna give you advantage because your druidic powers are they feel so difficult to access that you can kind of almost follow the stream of power to where it might be coming from.
It's like a compass.
The good news, I have advantage already.
Well, then never mind.
It's okay. And
Never
the,
mind all
I
that.
just said.
and the second roll, okay, and the high roll is 30.
Okay. Yeah. You look around. You see very small plots of grass and greenery here and there, but largely, and again, these aren't true forests in any sense of the word, but there's a little bit more foliage when you get to the mountains, and there's actually one building that really stands out to you. You see this like big cylindrical white building that almost looks like the marble you had seen around Greece. It has like a big domed roof, and it sits on the mountainside amongst some greenery, way off in the distance there, and it kind of, I don't know. It's a unique and kind of cool building from here, and there's this sort of reflective. You can barely see it, but the light kind of hits your eye like it's reflecting off of some kind of glass piece off in the distance. And that is like, oh, it's kind of a cool building. But as far as you've seen, there's not a lot of nature in this valley, other than, of course, the nature that's grown up the side of the mountains and obviously out at sea.
The mountains seem like the most nature connected parts of this walled city. I guess that's what it is. Yeah. It seems, and I also relay it then for about there being like a dome up there as well.
Suppose I could always summon a friend as a guide.
I will remind a party member that they have spoken to someone who might be a potential guide for the party.
We did. Mm-hmm. The alleged Leonis.
The alleged Leonis.
Katara.
Do we know that, or has Thalia kept that to herself?
I think I told the party last session. I'm pretty sure I did, yeah. Maybe not Ouroboros, because I think he was inside, but I told everyone else.
I was on the elevator.
Oh, okay. But
This
We'll
is
say Silenos being the god of fellowship and all is gonna be like, okay, guys, let's just like bring it in. I think it would be good if we just all had like a group hug and just like remembered how much we care about each other
Yeah,
because
I
we're a team and like a family, and I'm gonna tell you guys, I want to catch you all up because I care about each and every one of you because I'm the most wholesome person that ever came out of Greece. Listen, so and then he'll update you all with the information and insist upon a group hug, and you guys maybe have a group hug.
I think I know exactly why Silenos isn't going to be here this session, and it's because Ouroboros didn't participate in the group hug.
Oh.
Yeah,
Alicia
exactly why.
Alicia is the first to participate in the group hug because she is kind of disturbed by all this non-nature shit standing
You don't take
around.
part in the group hug, Ouroboros, and Silenos disappears from existence for at least a little while because he's the god of fellowship, and as there is no fellowship, he
you killed him.
the fiber of his godly being is dismantled.
He gets he evaporates into dust like
Exactly.
Avengers Infinity
He gets
War.
Thanos in this moment because of
That's
you.
one god down.
Okay, well, I know how to get out of the building without just dropping off the edge. So there's an upside. There's a glass box with little glowy button things, little circles, and the one with an L I think is the bottom.
I'll tell you what, because all of you have your godly abilities and they guide you here and there. Katara, what's your passive investigation?
11.
What's any of your other passive stats that I could possibly justify with?
I'm not very astute from passive. Passive perception is 13, but my passive insight is 19.
There we go. I can work with that. There we go. One of them works, right?
Like I'm really not perceptive or investigative passively, but or actively.
Katara being kind of like a little, not a very in the moment individual. Is always just kind of like thinking and has something on the go in her brain. You find, as a god, yeah, yes, you manifest in a physical form, but you are secrets. You are lost knowledge. You are these things. And in this moment, there is so much knowledge that is lost to your party, and you feel almost like a thread, like the fates themselves guiding you. As you might remember, the fates did tell you to find them if you wanted more information that they'd be happy to tell. You feel almost like a thread to follow. And as you kind of turn your head passively to follow it, you see there's this strange, one of the few things left in the apartment that isn't destroyed by Ouroboros. There is this rectangular metal box with a number of switches on the front and these like big black mesh covers on either end. And something about it tells you that perhaps there are secrets to be learned from this device, whatever it is.
So yeah, I think she'll she'll drift over. She'll just sort of, if that's what's kind of pulling her, she'll sort of wander over. Is there any writing on this box at all?
Can you understand anything wrote?
If I cast something,
if you wish to cast
this
something,
is my thing. I was gonna ask. I was like, did she see any glowing letters or anything? But I was like, she rolled a 10, so she did not see shit.
Yeah.
But if she is
there is writing on here that you don't understand. You could cast a spell and learn what it says.
So yeah, she will sort of start ritually casting comprehend languages.
Comprehend languages pops in. A number of things become apparent to you. There is this round circular knob that says power under it. There is this one like arrow that says play. There's one that says eject. There's one that says fast forward. There's one that says rewind. There's a number of buttons with a number of functions that don't all necessarily make sense.
I'm trying to think what ancient Greece would work well with. I think she'll press power because she likes it.
Power. What's better than power? You need some power. You click the button. In this moment, you are going to hear it spring to audible life. You might even find yourself receding, and it's going to go. It's going to go. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to radio show 104.5 here in Los Damien. My, do we have some news for you here? All kinds of things happening left and right. What do we got today? Oh, yes, Janis Joplin has just released her first solo album. Elvis is performing in Las Vegas again, and here's this. Elvis has reached #1 in the hits for Suspicious Minds after 7 years off the top charts. It is a good time here in LD 1969. The news coming up next. Breaking news, actually, we're going to say to you. The Manson family, an extremist godling rebellion group, murdered the elder brain Thum in the Hollywood Hills, ladies and gentlemen. Can you believe that? All mind flayers collected to its network found themselves dead or confused. With that said, we're going to go to Led Zeppelin's Whole Lot of Love, because they are dazed and confused so very often. So here's to them, ladies and gentlemen.
I found a man trapped in a box.
Hey, can I inspect this?
Yeah, you want to? Sure, what are you trying to inspect it for?
Like, are you there? I knock on it. Like, are you in there? Hello? Is that you, man?
It starts
Speak again.
playing. Yeah, you poke it, and like maybe you hit the knob and turn it up a little bit, and it starts, this completely other man with a number of instruments starts playing very strange future music.
She'll just turn to the group. They have much power here. They are able to trap many people in this box.
How many I've heard of souls trapped in jars before, but I've never known so many in such a small box. So it was like, so, and by the way, Katara, do you have a potential disguise to go downstairs with?
Okay.
And as I try to talk to Katara, I lean down to the box and ask, "Hello, can you all please quiet? We're trying to speak with our friends."
It doesn't quiet.
Like I just start touching it, like
start poking it.
Hello, hello.
Hey, did you fucking hear what she said?
If
Listen,
other people
I'm trying to read. Stop
This one
it.
is sturdier.
She's gonna tell Ouroboros to stop.
Yeah, you pull it and pry it away from Ouroboros.
And I'll sort
touch your
of
nail.
like, as no. She'll start reading out the sort of things that she can read, like, anything that she can read on the box, sort of tell other people if they're, if they have other thoughts. I'm not smart, so I feel like I can relay what I see.
Well, so
Not
here's
very
what we'll
bright.
say. You go over, you tell everybody about the boxes, different words. You're inspecting it, and poking it, and trying to speak to the man inside the box. As this strange sort of electronic-y sound song that fucking rips, dude, comes to an end. The person in the box will start speaking again. You guys don't know who did it or what button it was that you clicked, but he starts speaking again. And he goes, "Well, I hope you enjoyed that. That was Whole Lot of Love by Led Zeppelin. They just released their debut album here in October. It's a great time here in the Valley. It is growing late, so I'm going to warn everybody, all you young ruffians out there in the streets, be careful. As a reminder, at nighttime, it is not safe to leave the Valley. It is not safe to leave the Valley. Even in daytime, everybody knows that that's where Typhon resides, and Typhon does not like people who wander into his domain. So unless you're there to pick up a kid who's being birthed from the father of all monsters, then please stay out of there. And more than that, stay away from Nyx. We wouldn't want her darkness to cut you to ribbons out there in the wild wastelands. in other news, and we'll continue to speak on various news points and music. Let's see, is there anything particularly interesting it would tell you about?
The war on drugs has been won, and
Oh.
drugs are available everywhere.
No, they'll tell you one thing. They'll tell you about, they'll say the Vietnam War continues to rage here in 1969. Indeed, across the waters, our brothers in arms, our monsters and demon friends, battle hard against the celestial menace of the resistance. Hopefully, we can put down that threat and get back to the good old way things should be when Father Kronos laid down his law upon humanity. And then he'll say, like, coming up next is Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond.
Can Katara try to figure out the volume part?
Yeah, you managed to find out the volume part. It's fine.
Okay.
You,
If that
you
is
managed to turn it
how
down.
big is, like, can I pick this up or is it like attached?
It looks particularly good at either holding at your arm, or if you wanted to be more cool about it, you can like put it on your one shoulder and kind of like do one of those.
I mean, she's got a portable hole.
You could toss it in your portable. I mean, you would. I don't. It looks kind of breakable. You wouldn't
Yeah.
want to toss it, but you could store it in your portable.
But somebody else has like somebody's got a bag of holding, right? Or a Boros or whatever. Somebody's got one.
I think I do.
Whoever has one, unless no one has one, she's gonna press the power button again because that's what made it talk in the first place. No.
And the music ceases entirely.
And she'll say, I think this will be good to keep around. And she'll kind of look to bag of holding people because it's easier to pull out of a bag of holding than freaking portable hole.
Thalia has the bag of holding. She'll put it in there.
Okay. And so then she'll give that to Thalia, and then she's gonna see just in the room that they're in if there's any other, and she might see if Gyasi can help. If there's anything that looks like it has a lot of information on it, I can at least read it, so we can grab it.
We can roughage and see if there's any printed material, scrolls, bits of paper with notes onto it, a map.
Yeah,
we can toss the place. I'm good at doing that.
Yeah, you guys want to toss the place and see what other knowledge and secrets you can garner about this place?
Way ahead of you.
Absolutely.
well, I think
All right.
what was it, 6th Street? 16th?
16th?
What was the street that Starbucks was on?
That's super. 16th. Yeah, 16th Street.
Katara will focus on 16th Street. She's gonna see if there's a way to find 16th.
Okay. Whoever wants to toss the place and try and find some information, go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
Okay,
I'll help.
that'll help as well.
I won't be investigating, but I will be tossing the place.
19.
27.
All right. Of course. You guys will find what you're looking for because, of course, you do. Let's see. Well, very easily, you guys find a map of Lost Damien, and you're gonna unravel it, and you're going to see it. I'm working on trying to find it for you guys. I put it in my docs here somewhere, and I'm gonna get it to you just as soon as I can. But I am struggling a little bit for it, but it's coming your way, I promise. Let's see. But yeah, you get a pretty detailed map. It shows you the various districts of the city, and indeed it looks like it is in a valley. There are, they call them different cities inside this city, but there's various different districts. There's West Side, Malibu, South Beaches, Beverly Hills, Santa Monica, Hollywood, and downtown. And downtown seems to have 16th Street on it.
And the temple that Alicia pointed to, or the building with the sort of conical construction at the top, Is that within the valley or is that outside the valley?
That's within the valley, but it's at the
Okay.
edges. The mountains mark the edge of the valley.
Okay. And it was not safe to leave the valley.
They said it's not safe to leave the valley because the father of monsters roosts out there, and apparently something about Nyx cutting people to shreds were the two reasons.
Is there any if I look at the map, if I find 16th Street and then the sort of that building, are they completely opposite directions? Are they kind of on the way?
The 16th Street actually isn't very far from where. Well, actually, you have no idea where you are. But you rolled well enough in investigation. I'll say you're able to find some information that tells you where you are. You get your current address, and you find out that 16th Street is not far from where you are. That place is further. It's called Griffin Observatory, and it is a little further away. It's in Hollywood, whereas you guys are downtown.
Were we told to stay away from Hollywood or the place that's Typhon is? Is that the place where Typhon is?
No, Typhon is not in the city. Typhon is outside the city. So they're just basically saying don't leave the city limits
Okay.
unless you want to encounter him, which you probably don't actually want to.
There's a war ongoing with the resistance.
So we go to find Leonis then at this
Sounds like
16th Street.
That's
Yeah, we need allies. Did
Okay.
Leonis mention the resistance at all, or no?
well. Let's go down
Oh,
there
you're
and
muted.
meet him first.
Can't hear you, Thalia.
Yeah, I can't hear you, Thalia.
That's okay. I didn't say anything important.
Well,
Okay, so you guys are heading over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get in the
Man,
big
I
glass
just-
box and press the one that says L. I'm pretty certain that one's the bottom.
Okay. You guys will descend. Thalia looking like a cat. Yasi also looking like a cat because
There's no way
Yeah.
this glass is strong enough to hold us. There's just no way.
and yet it does as you descend.
Do you guys? I speak with the other. Did Katara shapeshift into something?
Not yet. I wanted to. It's an hour, but I wanted to
Okay.
wait as far as. So once we get into the box that will take us downstairs, she'll change. She's gonna kind of adopt a the Furies, were they like devils or demons?
They're devils.
So she's
Well,
gonna
actually,
adopt...
they were just fiends. They were
Yeah.
neither. They predate the gods.
Do I know if they hated devils or demons in particular? Which one did they like better?
Who, the Furies?
Yeah.
They probably liked the devils because they were more. They're easier to
Order-based.
interact with.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're also
so-
on the side of Hades.
She'll do a devil, and then she'll kind of a bit of homage to the Furies, her friends, and then that's she's not gonna look like them, but
Yeah, you're gonna look like what they were. So essentially, what they look like is like fallen angels, basically. So you will still look vaguely humanoid, but you'll have these like reddish feathered wings and the horns and like the scarlet red lips and the devil eyes, and it'll be very apparent what you are, or what you're appearing to look like in life, which is good.
very tucked in
Incredible.
wings, very tucked
Yeah,
in.
you tuck them in behind you, very tight, absolutely.
I'm gonna ask the party. Would you prefer that I was a bird or a cat?
Cassie, did you see any animals?
not in particular, but I wasn't necessarily looking for animals. Whatever's reasonably small and inconspicuous and can keep up.
But it is. And I'll see you guys down there. And by the way, quick thing, Ryan,
Yeah.
is our time spending up here count as a short rest?
No, because you guys were like investigating and doing stuff and sending spells and so on and so forth.
Okay. I'll
Or
see
actually,
you.
didn't I? I think I said last game that it would.
Oh, okay.
Didn't I? No? Okay, then I'm gonna say no. Because you guys were doing a pretty heavy, thorough investigation. This wasn't like calm, relaxing time.
Okay. Okay, guys. I'll see you down there. And I jump off the building.
Okay. Okay, Keyleth, you jump off the building.
But this
You
time, I wait a second, and then I turn into a bird.
We're
Got it. You
gods.
We're gods. What's the worst that could happen?
I'm
As I
not.
descend an immediate 200 feet. You descend an immediate 200 feet. Lucky for you. That's okay, and you become a bird. And what
And
kind of bird?
I think I saw. Do I see any birds flying by me as I'm falling?
In the 1 or 2 seconds that you descend in like an immediate 200 feet, I'm gonna say that you're not seeing anything. You're a little busy.
Okay, I turn into a raven.
Okay, you become a raven. Fantastic. Okay.
That's so much fun jumping off a building and turn into a bird.
Fantastic.
And and I'm not a god.
You all make it to street level. Alicia is somewhere, presumably an animal, and you guys all find yourselves on the streets. Thalia and Gyasi you're still dressed a little, certainly not matching the current dress, but your forms matching at least the species rate around here. Katara, you're looking like a devil. Ouroboros, what are you looking like, if anything?
I feel like I feel like he's just giving off Terminator vibes. He goes back to default like bald head, tattoos and markings and shit.
Okay. So you're looking like a Goliath?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, you guys all step out on the streets. Again, you get some looks. Nobody seems like entirely offended by your appearance or anything like that. You will see many creatures go by. I will tell you sort of as you begin to make your way through the streets, with this big map out, like trying to follow the map. Somebody roll me let's call it a nature or survival check to use the map well. And if you're proficient with calligrapher supplies or cartographer supplies, you may have advantage.
How about navigator's tools?
Yeah, sure, I'll give it to you for navigator's tools.
I'm not there. I'm
Nope.
a bird, so I can't see it now.
Yep, you are a bird.
That'll be a 19.
19. So Gyasi, you take the map, you start guiding the party. As you do so, there is going to be you're going to kind of start to see the demographics of the city quite clearly as you make your way through. Just to give you a sense of what it is. This is more people than you've ever seen in one place in your entire life. This is more buildings you've ever seen in one place in your entire life. You see a very large population of these like half snake men and women. Some of them look a little more humanoid than others, but clearly bearing signs of like serpentine reptilian scales. They bear their sort of like snake eyes proudly. Some men walk around with full snake heads. There's a very large population of them. You see that there is like a patrolling force of these. Actually, you would recognize these because you fought them with Caligometh. These They look like dragonborn, but like more beefy, more like extra draconic in appearance, and they have wings. They're sort of making their way around, and they have like weapon. They don't look to be armed, but they have like belts and gadgets stuck to them, almost artificer-like, a little Hephaestus-y, but not workers' tools, other stuff, like utility belts, basically. Use a couple of harpies fly down the street and together. Everyone wearing strange clothing. No small amount of minotaurs walking around. You walk past one building that it looks like they're finishing up for the day, and a couple of minotaurs are like wrapping up for the day and talking in the street. But a great number of creatures. You see these half lion, half people creatures. You see a couple of gorgons walk down the street, the Medusa type individuals who sort of have their hair tied back, but the snakes are still sort of hissing in the back. A great number of people. You also see in small groups, you do catch sight of at least one group of humanoids. You see some humans walking down the street. They kind of got their hoods up. They got hands in their pocket, and they kind of walk around. There's like a group of 4 of them. They're looking a little uneasy. And as they walk down the street, like a minotaur might walk by, a respectable looking minotaur, if that exists, and just kind of like partially shoulder bumps one of them. Or maybe some of the, like a couple of these snake women come down the street and see them and kind of like cross the street, and generally treat them with distaste and disdain. They're very much in the wrong neighborhood, being in respectable downtown. But you make your way down the street, and you find your way into this strange little hole-in-the-wall doored shop with a sign with this like white and green woman image, very, very Hellenistic. Nobody seems to be going in and out. It looks very, almost divey in a way. And you have made it to Starbucks.
Starbucks is the dive bars now. I will say, as we're walking, Katara does want to she wants to summon Coriol and then put him in the pocket plane, because if we're walking and we need to sort of get to any like signs, whatever, to understand, she's going to use Coriol to sort of extend the comprehend languages as needed.
Fair enough. Okay, you guys walk over to this Starbucks place. You do see a couple humanoids. It's like a dwarf, an elf, and a man. They all walk into a bar. They all walk into Starbucks together. They all open the door and they kind of walk in. You get the sense that this is not a establishment of good taste to the normal monstrous fiendish folk of the city. And humanoid kind of seem to use this place. But yeah, do you wish to go in?
Absolutely. And I'm walking in with an agenda.
Okay. We love an agenda.
I understand commerce happens. So at some point I'm expecting an exchange of something.
Right.
That's the piece that I'm looking for.
Okay.
Is to understand how they're paying for things.
Got it.
And then I'm gonna lift from somebody that which they are using to pay for things.
Fair enough. Why don't you make me an investigation check? I'm going to say do it at disadvantage just because you're in charge of helping everybody get around the city, and that might be a little difficult to multitask that. Come on, give me a fucking somebody drink.
I have a good suspicion.
That'll be a 27.
You see various vendors and whatnot. yep, trading around in these like really old crinkly pieces of like white and green paper that seem to have there's a numerical system on them that you don't understand, but they seem to be trading that around. That seems to be the basis of commerce around here.
Okay. As we're hanging in the Starbucks vicinity,
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to get a peek for somebody who has a lot of the relative, you know. they look like they have more of the green and white paper than than some of the others, and wherever they're keeping it, that's what I'm gonna try to take.
All right, you see this one like skinny snake bitch with like this like purse made of like literal skin. Like it's like leathery and like varnished and whatever, but you're like, no, yep, that's human skin. Yep, for sure. And she's like, she goes in and she like pulls out some of these pages, and she looks like really well dressed and kind of has a posture of like, I'm better than you. You get the sense she probably has a lot of these. You want to sleight of hand her or attempt to anyway?
Yep. Yes.
I'm sure
Yes,
it'll be
I do.
very difficult against the everyman of these places.
Well, that's a 3 on the die for 27.
I was like, yeah, whatever. Okay, let's hear it. Whatever.
It's infallible talent, and I have expertise
Yeah.
into it. So
Yeah, so you are good, my friend. Yeah, she doesn't even notice, but as you're walking by, we'll make this fun. We'll say that you like get a drachma out or something like that, and you like make your way over to the far side of the street, and you like ding, like flick it off of your finger, and it like hits Ouroboros in the back of the head. He's like, "Hey, what the fuck, man?" And he kind of starts making a scene, and then you walk by, and just like your hand goes like fully in the purse, and you arcade claw grab a big wad of that paper out of there, and walk away, and nobody's the wiser. I will say, let's just say you have a pile, you have a large handful of money, we will call it, and we'll deal with that in due time.
fair enough.
Excellent. Okay, you guys going in? You're going into this Bucks of Stars, whatever that means.
The salty spittoon.
Yeah, right.
Before going in, can I actually drop my disguise and become a humanoid again?
Absolutely. You drop your disguise, and you look like the goddess Thalia, god of grace. Once more, certainly probably the most beautiful woman walking these streets, easily.
Mm-hmm. I would like to drop my disguise also.
Okay, you will look like a very handsome young lad, as well.
I'll distance myself from the two people that just dropped disguise self.
Yeah,
Hang
everyone on the
back.
street just like all their hair just like blows back, and they're like,
Yeah.
wow.
No, I'll be at a distance.
as the most pristine example of like masculine musculature, beauty, and feminine grace appear before them in the middle of the street. Humanoids, both, at least in appearance. They are stunned and shocked. Many folk. Okay. Let's get to it. You guys going in? All right. Alicia's around the top, and you guys all enter. You all walk into a bar.
And if I can, I'm gonna land near a window or whatever. If I could see inside and like keep an eye out.
Sure, you land on like a nearby windowsill and kind of try and look through to the best you can. I'm gonna roll a little potential random encounter for you because you're a bird. Nope, nothing. You're good. You land, you look through. Maybe some people will walk by and be like, "Fucking Raven, cool," and walk away. But
Do
yeah,
I
you'll let you go in. Yeah,
curious? Is Alicia trying to be stealthy, or like, can I clock her perching somewhere?
it's at least you didn't roll a stealth check nor asked to. I think it would be it's like didn't make a show of it, so there's no like
Okay.
like everyone's
I
not
was
looking
just
at Alicia.
If for some reason I was just gonna say if she's within 60 feet, I was just gonna sort of try to telepathically tell her like if anything goes wrong, like motion to Coriel and he'll kind of connect, and I'll kind of put Coriel in a in an area where I want him watching things because two people just dropped disguises, so I think she's wanting to just see if that attracts a lot of attention.
Got it. You
And
put
if we
your
need to
you put your
be,
bird out there to keep an eye on things. No problem at
yeah.
all. Okay. I'm just gonna kind of remain generally overviewed. It was difficult to figure out what you guys were gonna do. So please excuse me. But you walk in. You are hit with the smell of this. What would it be? It's just you just get this like nice, warm, toasty smell. Something brewing, something hot, almost steamy like. And it's good. The music in here is similar to what you heard on the radio, though strange and from alien to you all, but maybe not entirely unenjoyable. It is indeed pretty much primarily filled with humanoids in here, but those humanoids are dressed like the other people around. Some in very, very baggy clothing. Most people in pants. Men and women are in here, which is unusual for the Greek world. Women aren't usually allowed outside. You don't know what's going on in most of the Greek world. This could be like future Sparta for all you know. You don't know. Okay, we're gonna turn that down a touch and change it because this person isn't. Let's find a better sound. Come on. Yeah, there we go. Sure, he's big right now. And yeah, a lot of warm, darker colors and tones. You don't know really what the deal is here. Some people are eating little pastries and talking by the window and such. And Thalia, you will spot a familiar face. All of you will, of course, but I will direct it to you. Not as he has ever really seemed to you. He seems as mortal as you've ever seen him. Not in a bad way. He looks less supernatural than he's ever looked. There's always been something sort of otherworldly beautiful and otherworldly fierce to his apparel. Like at any moment, he could draw you into a moment of desire or terrify you from the very thought of something you were going to do. But he seems as mortal as anyone else in this shop in this moment, though his attractiveness is of the upper echelon still. You see he has blonde hair down to his shoulder. He is dressed like the people in here. He's wearing these like tight, dark denim jeans and a similar like black leathery jacket. He has like a number of accessories hanging off of him. And he's what else does he have? He's got like a bag hanging over his shoulder, like a messenger bag, which you would recognize probably to have the qualities of a bag of holding. And he's got like a little book out, and he's just kind of like doing some like absent writing. But in this moment, Thalia, it's like it's weird. It's like all of the history you have with him, and it's like you're seeing some kind of younger, purer, more mortal, more human version of him as you've ever seen him before. And he kind of looks around the bar and keeps writing, and maybe his eyes will sort of turn in all of your directions, and it's ever Leonis's glowing blue eyes. Some things don't change. And he kind of tilts his head curiously. There's not like a moment at all for him. He kind of tilts his head curiously as if like he's saying to himself, like, is that her? I hope it's her. And he doesn't seem to recognize all of you, but is certainly drawn, as you are all people of great visual prominence. What do you do?
I'll waste no time and walk directly up to him.
He will stand up and just be sort of very lucid free, as he always is, and kind of a little smile on his face, and he says, well, good evening. You must be the angel I keep hearing the voice of.
You must be Leonis.
Well, I don't want to rub my own back or anything, but I hope I am distinguishable from others. I've been told.
Yeah, you've got one of those faces, I suppose. Thalia, nice to meet you.
It's an honor to meet you. I've many questions, and I see you brought friends. I always love friends.
Well, let me let's move to them, and I will. I'll make introductions, and it really is uncanny. You look just like someone I used to know.
Yeah,
I look
you
like
do.
Well, as long as it's Apollo, I suppose I can accept that as a compliment. I intend to be singular in all things.
Apollo, so I couldn't help but notice that there's quite a Titan presence. Well, admittedly, I'm a little out of sorts, and this is a very new place for me, and I'm trying to wrap my head around what exactly is the lay of the land here.
I would love to give you the lay of the land if you want. I've been here not too long, but what's mine is yours.
Very generous of you.
He will very casually sort of say, oh, sorry, like he hasn't fully addressed the rest of them. He'll put a ginger hand on your arm, flirtatiously establishing that first contact very innocently, and kind of say, I'm sorry, I haven't fully addressed your friends. And then he'll remove the hand. And he will be a little extra as he's always been, kind of bow and say, it is a great honor to meet all of you. I am Leonis, son of Aphrodite, and I believe we all come from similar times. It's an honor to meet all of you. Yossi, Ouroboros, Katara. It is good to meet new people. Friendly faces in such an odd time, no?
We introduce ourselves? Or does that...
Well, I think Thalia just said.
Okay, just want to make sure.
No, he's not
yeah.
mind reading her.
I was like, cool.
As a small note for you, Katara, there are 3 individuals in this bar who are hidden by illusions.
Okay. Are they trying to appear like demons, or are they trying to
they look humanoid, but they are protected by illusions. You can see their true form, I believe. Oh no, you can only see their true form if they're shape changers, not if they're illusions.
No, I can see there's a lot. Like, hang on.
Yeah, I know you can see illusions, but can you see through illusions?
Yeah. So I can see the true form of every shape changer or creature concealed by illusion or transmutation magic while they're within 30 feet of me and in line of sight. So if we were walking in and I saw people.
Got it. Two ladies sitting at the window. Basically the window that Alicia is perched at. Those two women are under the power of illusions. One has short brown. They're both women in their true forms. One is they're all dressed for the time, even in their non-illusion. One has short brown hair and looks a little brawny, strong, broad warrior body. And the other has long blonde hair with green eyes. No, blue eyes, excuse me. And the last one, who is like sitting by the he has like a really funky coffee thing with like whipped cream and sprinkles and shit. But in his true form, he has gray skin with like veins of orange and like fiery orange hair, and has like a number of tools strapped in and around like his coat. But they are all concealed by illusion, those three.
Okay. And sorry, I just want to make sure I understand. So they trying to make themselves look like humanoids, or are the humanoids trying to make themselves look beefier?
No, they are just they're just disguised as regular humanoids in this bar.
Okay. So she will if she clocks them, she'll just sort of make a note and like try to communicate that to Thalia if she feels like they're in close proximity to that, because I don't know how far away they are. Just so that she's aware.
It's a small bar. It's
Okay.
or a coffee shop. But you are speaking with Leonis right now, so if you're trying to communicate with that, like he's probably going to see you.
I'll sort of lean in and I'll just say, I do recommend we keep our names quiet. Seems like there's some magic users in this space currently. And she's gonna try to be very quiet about that, but just warning people, like, don't like, hey, we're here.
Okay, say that to Thalia.
Mhm.
Maybe, perhaps Leonis, you could take us somewhere a little more private.
Of course, of course. He'll turn around and look at like the barista, who is this like pretty teenager who kind of like waves at him a little bit, and he kind of like points to the back room. She's like, "Oh, go." And he'll just kind of gesture and kind of lead you all back, and he'll pull back this like bead, like the long bead doors, just kind of like pull back the beads and kind of like gesture for you all to enter. And if you do so, he will as well. And you see like a small office space and some boxes around for probably storage. And we'll say that there's like a couch at the back of the room, and he'll just kind of like stand. He's got like a little coffee, so he'll just kind of like lean against a. He won't lean against a wall. He'll kind of keep near Thalia because he seems like very interested in Thalia. You've lost sight of them, Alicia, outside as they exit to a more private space. Leonis will go to the windows and kind of close the blinds. He will say one more thing, and he will go into his pocket, and he's going to produce an amount of silver dust, and he's going to throw it into the air, and it's going to hold still and expand into a 10-foot cube and slowly just kind of swirl in the air, and he will step into the cube, and he says, as long as we stand in this cube, no divination can see us.
Handy trick you've got that. So, Bully of the Land, you were going to tell us a little more of that.
The lay of the land, yes. Sure, let me tell you a little bit about this place, Lost Damien. It is quite a lot to deal with, but there is a number of things. Where do you want me to start? Maybe some history about this world, or current events, or the city itself? Where would you like me to start?
Start with a little bit of history.
Okay, sure. I'd be happy to. Okay. History. So, in what they call ancient Greece. Not a very creative name, if you ask me. But that the Greek gods fell to the Titans in a second Titanomachy, and many of the gods were destroyed by the power of Kronos, and Olympus fell, and the Titans reigned supreme. There's tales told of a great battle in the city of Troy, where Zeus and many of his Olympians fell to the powers of Kronos, and Kronos took over. And that was a long time ago. I think the year is like 1969, so that was thousands of years ago. It was about 2,000 years ago, thereabouts. A little more than 2,000 years, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of things happen. This place was settled by a storm giant explorer. Then a great war broke out between the giants and the monsters, and the monsters won, and the king, the father of all monsters, Typhon, traveled across the sea and turned this new world into a place of monsters. Across the sea is where the Titans reign most supreme, but here it is Typhon, the father of monsters, who produces a never-ending flood, and that's why there's so many creatures around. It's an endless stream of monsters. I'm definitely paraphrasing the thousands of years of history so as not to bore. Stone giants settled a place way a little further south called Mexico. There is what else? The city. The city is apparently a big place for entertainment, where many things have happened. They have a thing they call here an entertainment style called filmmaking, where apparently it's a number of pictures that revolve around themselves very quickly. I've seen it. It's actually very interesting. But it's really taking off. The Yontai, as they're called, these snake people, sort of dominate that industry, and thus they dominate Los Demos. And there is a lot of tension between humanoids, which here they're called godlings because they are the creation of gods. So people don't like humanoids. So there's a lot of tension between godlings and monsters, and godlings are persecuted pretty heavily. And apparently there is a underground resistance. There's an extremist group called the Demithots, very creatively named, that are considered extremists and godling terrorists who attack brazenly and such. And and that's kind of where we find ourselves today as far as history goes. I can go a little more in depth if you want. I just got out of the library 2 days ago, but that's the long and short of the history. You are on the continent ruled by monster kind.
Wow.
And what of the gods? They're all gone, or just some?
I'm not entirely sure. I have some mixed reports. They say many of the Greek gods were slain in the war. Some say that some of them are still alive today. I heard one tale that Hermes actually is still quite alive. And I don't know what his purpose is, but there's a myth about how he runs at top speed, faster than anyone could ever dare to catch. And if he were ever to slow his pace even for a moment, time would slow around him, the Kronos would catch up with him, and he would be destroyed along with the other gods. So they say that even today he runs at a magnificent pace, outrunning the eyes of the Titans and surviving to this very day for some unknown purpose. That is the myth around Hermes. I heard some gossip about how the gods now serve the Titans. I don't know how much stock is to be put in that, but mostly gossip and mythology and rumors. Nothing concrete. I actually hoped you could fill in the blanks yourselves, you being a god of beauty.
Hmm. And it's devastating what your world's become.
Oh, this isn't my world. I come from a much more war-torn, but certainly more sane place. I come from your time.
From
You
where?
I'm
do?
only here on vacation. Yeah, I'm here on vacation. Not actually, but it's a fun thing to say.
What did you say he's from? Where he's from?
He says, I'm from your time.
What do you mean our time?
Well, you all, he looks you up and down. You guys are dressed in like the Greek god tunics and such. You're still very much dressed like 300 BC. He says, well, I don't mean to presume, but you are from what these people call ancient Greece, yes?
That is
It's
correct.
it's worth remembering that you can understand him, and it's a lot to keep track of, so don't mind it. But he is speaking ancient Greek to you. You guys are all communing in ancient Greek right
So you vacation to different times?
I never mind the never mind the vacation comment. I was trying to be funny. Apparently, I'm losing my touch here in the future. No, I am not on vacation. I am definitely here on an important mission. Me and my friends were told to find the underworld for some great purpose. Um, we don't need to get into all of that, but the gods sent us here, and here we are.
What's in the underworld?
I'm not sure. It was all very vague. We were told that the fates had a great fate in store for us. We had to go to the underworld and rescue a hero, and all would be described in due time. And we had to help the gods. And it was more of a prophecy kind of thing. We're still working out, but we were essentially told to follow the path of the Olympians, aid the gods, seek the underworld. Is what we were told to do. It
Out
was
of
direct, but still
curiosity,
vague. Yes,
out
of
of
course.
curiosity, what was happening in your time before you came here?
Oh, a whole lot of bullshit. It is the second Titanomachy, if you can believe that. I'm still trying to figure out everything myself to connect the dots, but we are in the midst of a second Titanomachy, and there are great heroes have been called by the gods, and I don't mean to brag or anything, but I was called. Along with a couple of friends, various demigods of various Olympians, to save the day, as it were. We're still working out the details and trying to do what we can. But, it's difficult.
So the Titanomachy is just starting for you.
No, it has been raging on for some 10 years now, actually.
That is exactly how we started.
Oh. Well, that's funny because, as far as I knew, I was the most famous adventurer in my time. And if you are all famous adventurers, well, it's crazy we haven't crossed paths before now.
It is.
But you are gods, you say. I hope it's not insulting to say. I was raised in a temple of Aphrodite, and I know I know my gods very well, but I admit I'm not totally recognizing all of your names, and even what you're standing for. I admit it's the first time I've ever heard of any of you, and I've studied fairly lengthily the mythologies of the gods, and even the more obscure ones, and I don't know of any of you.
Does he know that we're gods, or does he think we're demigods or something?
He said, I don't know, you guys are, haven't heard of gods like you before, and
okay.
He seems to be under the impression you guys are gods of some kind.
Okay.
I hope you understand that we're looking for answers as well.
I do not doubt that.
Who are your friends? Said you have many. They
Oh, I
close
have
by.
friends all across Greece for various reasons, but my most closest companions, they're here with me. Yeah. They're around. I was told to come alone, so alone here I am.
Are they from your time or are they from the present?
They're from my time. They all have their graces and powers about them. But something tells me that maybe they're not quite as powerful as all of you. I mean, we're not gods. Half gods. We're working on it.
There's.
What year were
Sorry, go ahead.
Can't hear you, Gyasi.
I was just going to say, don't steal the ambrosia. It apparently annoys everybody.
He looks at you with a great interest, and he goes, "We need to talk, me and you. That's a story I want to tell." My, slowly ambrosia. Now that's a mythology. You are all so interesting, and if I may say, divinely attractive. Like, I'm a little overwhelmed. I don't usually get embarrassed, but I'm feeling a little off guard.
what? When you left your time to come here, what year was it?
And he will tell you the Greek calendar equivalent to 312 BC, which is the time this campaign started.
Okay, so he came here when when we started building up.
Yep.
Hmm.
As soon as he said 10 years ago, I knew that he was just starting his campaign.
I think we'll know him, or you'll know us eventually.
That sounds like an invitation.
No, because we should have been. I mean, in some sort of histories, I think, right? I mean,
I think he's.
Not if he is from
I think-
some different.
Oh, people like you make it to history if by grace of just, well, grace.
so
I think he will meet us in the past.
Yeah. In his
Future.
timeline. Yeah. His future.
I will meet you all in my future.
In our past.
Time is really complicated, isn't it?
It's wibbly wobbly.
Wibbly wobbly, I like that. Rolls off the tongue.
what if this isn't our timeline at all?
There's timelines now. It's a timeline.
I know of at least one other timeline.
Well, timeline. You see, the idea generally confuses him. You all seem to know a little bit more about chronomancy than I do.
Well, and I'll try to describe like what a timeline is and like an alternate reality, and so I'll try to describe that to him. That concept.
Huh. I mean, anything's possible. Huh. Wow. Must be very confusing being gods. You have this crazy knowledge of the universe, but that sounds insane to me. But I mean, Knowledge is knowledge.
Yeah, we learned a great deal from those along the way.
You're
And
very mysterious and wise, and may I say, expertly built, like physically.
you are exactly the same as I remember you.
Oh, we've met. Were we very familiar?
Familiar enough.
Oh. Well, there's always time for change.
Uh, maybe uh, I'm being a bit investigative,
Yes, you're all very down to business, and that's fair. This is a strange place to be.
but I am a bit curious. What exactly were the means of your traveling through time?
Oh, well, that blew over my head just a tiny bit. My group generally relies on me for understanding these things, but apparently it had something to do with the River of Time, and maybe part of Kronos himself, perhaps, and it was conceived by, of course, Hephaestus, because who else? And Zeus and Athena. They sort of found a method of transporting us here. Um, I'm told it was a one-way trip, but the underworld has long been influenced by the powers of time, so if we achieve our means, we will be able to find our way back, is what I'm told.
It's just interesting, is all.
So it is interesting.
I
It's dawning
haven't.
on me. My prophecy I received, it said, go where the Olympians tell you, aid the gods, find the underworld. Hmm. It's interesting the distinguishing between Olympians and gods. Maybe it's you I'm supposed to help, huh?
We do need help.
And I can help in so many ways. So, how can I help?
Well, we need to get back to our time. Or
Hmm. Well, I can work on that. I can work on that and more. You see, things here are not quite what we expected. We were hoping we'd go to the underworld and we would meet up with Hades and the rest would be history. Yeah? It seems that in this time, one thing is certain about the fates of the gods is that the three most powerful of the gods are certainly defeated, maybe even destroyed. Zeus, Hades, Poseidon, they are no more. But their weapons remain. And I think they might just be the key. I have nothing solidly placed as of yet, but between the three of them, they held the greatest power of Olympus. I think somehow they're linked to our success here, and maybe by link, your success, perhaps. I need to do more research and look into such things and the mythologies of relics and such, but it might be enough. And there's a lot more to look around here in Los Demos. Allies to be made and things to investigate, stuff to do. So I
We're
will start working hard.
we're also looking for a I don't know what their organizational unit is beyond circle.
So cool.
But we were told by the fates to seek the druids of this particular time.
Uh, I don't
Now,
mean to
what?
brag, but I have a little druid in me. I think I can help on that front.
Now, what we know is that the druids have, from our time in the lands held sacrosanct by Gaia, a back door into Olympus. And we also know that there is a passage on Olympus to the underworld.
Huh. Well,
I mean, I can also just like bring everyone to the underworld if we need to.
I've never been to Olympus before. How interesting. One day, maybe. But if you're looking for the druids, most of the druids I knew were either Fae or humanoid, generally speaking, and they hold pretty tightly to the power of nature. I have a speculation. I have an inkling to think. Have you heard of these? Oh, I just told you about them. These demidog people, these extremist individuals and such.
Mhm.
It's a lot of their attacks apparently have been reported to involve a lot of beasts and a lot of nature and fire and elemental stuff. Very, very druidy. I have a guess that maybe they might be linked to the demidogs in some capacity.
That would certainly be a place to start, but the question becomes, how do we successfully contact them?
Now that I am still
Are there places where they'll scribe slogans or messages of defiance? Those were not uncommon in our time.
Yes, yes. It's a rumor going around, but there is this one bar that is, oh, where is it? Let's see, where is it? Sorry, half a moment. Yes, there is this place called Sunset Boulevard here in a district called Hollywood. There is apparently this very popular experimental humanoid experimental music place, whatever. It's a place called Whiskey A Go Go, and it is this taverna. I think they call it a bar here, where a lot of people play a lot of music. There's this movement called the Legendary Young Quakes, and they're sort of a pro-humanoid rights group. And there's rumor that the demidogs frequent that area, that if you're looking for them, you go there.
Well, that gives us a place to start. Oh, do you understand these? And Yasi will hold out the large pile of green and white paper.
He goes, "Oh, this is yes, this is what they call money here. I'm not going to describe to you the whole thing, but here, and he'll put the $1 bill up. He goes, that means one, so that's worth one. This is the 2, and then there's a 5 and a 10 and a 20, and that's like, don't worry about all the other ones. There you go. So you can always just dump it on the counter, and usually they'll just take it and give you back coins. It's all very confusing. But generally, I've just been kind of handing it to people, and they give me more back, and they give me stuff back, and so it looks like you got a lot of it. So good job.
Things fall into my hands.
I kind of just ask people very nicely to give me things, and usually they do, and I'm gone before they can make a fuss.
Do these windows open by any chance?
And I don't know. Anything can open if you put enough pressure on it.
Give me a
Yes.
moment.
And I will just go to a window. I'm gonna see if I can open it.
Okay. You see a handle and it's fine. You crack it. It's definitely one of those windows that like opens up on the bottom and not
Okay,
any
so
further. You could
I'm just
slip a
gonna-
bird in there.
I'm just gonna whistle out and then have like mentally tell Coriel to come, like, basically fly back to me, follow the whistle, and hope that Alicia picks up the message.
All right, Alicia, you're standing there. Your party has long since left. You're sitting there with Coriel, and there's a couple of like these like snake people, but they're like teenagers, and they're like throwing rocks at you a little bit, and the other bird, and the bird's going, and like,
I poop on them.
You fly over. Well, Raven, okay, you start doing that, and they're like, ew! And then Coriel sort of like at you, and then starts like fluttering around in circles around you really crazily, and then sort of flies around back.
I follow it.
You fly around back, and you see the entrance, and so you open it, Katara, and two ravens appear like fucking Odin himself. And he's like, "You're very scary, and I love it. Can I just put that up there?" Leona says, and you have two ravens sort of perched there. Yes, yeah. Wow.
I'll just pop
now what?
Coriel out of existence.
If you were just doing that to show off, I'm very impressed.
No, I just wanted to bring in our other friend.
And I'll sort of motion to Alicia to get in, and I'll close the window and kind of do the shades again.
Well,
I expect this isn't just a bird.
no.
I shake its like I shake my head. No.
Very smart bird, then. Interesting.
Ah.
Call
because he
back
has
to you.
druid in him. Yeah, I'll just say he says he has some druid in him.
Nodding towards Leonis.
No. So, this is interesting. So what do we say? Why don't we all? It's getting late. Why don't we all find ourselves to some bed rest and let the sun go up and back down again? Oh, right. I should tell you, the sun doesn't come out anymore. The chariot of fire was destroyed a long time ago. So Nyx rules the lands now, and she's grown very powerful and angry, which is why nobody leaves the cities. And nature has sort of failed. So be careful with that. But anyway, point being, it's pretty late for me, but maybe we all go to sleep and wake up and go to a bar together, and you can meet my friends.
Sounds amazing, Leonis.
Thank you, Ouroboros. I like your name.
Is there any particular place you'd recommend we stay?
Honestly, we just kind of set up shop in someone's house and told them to leave, and it's just kind of a fun ongoing thing that we play around with. No, I have no clue. I've only been here a week and haven't fully figured it out. They have these things called hotels. I'm led to believe they're like inns. You could try and find one. You could always come to where my friends are staying.
We could certainly do that. There's
Yeah.
also a perfectly good place that we chased the Minotaur out of. It had a very high house. I'm assuming it was a house.
it's not perfectly good anymore. And I'll kind of give a pointed look to Ouroboros.
I also think he might. Well, would he return? Or is he gone? I can't remember. Did Thalia cast a spell to make him leave?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he'll be back.
Yeah. Not a
Unless he's
permanent
dead.
like gaze then, whatever. Okay. I think they will be back. One question. Have you found is there any magics or anything that you've casted that attract unwanted attention while you've been here? Something that we should be aware of?
Nothing yet. Nothing particular. Unless it's like really showy in someone's face. No, not really. Um, I our party has been generally cautious of prayer and praying and trying to connect with the Olympians just for fear of if they really are under the domination of the Titans, that might be bad. But you, again, you would probably know more about that than us. You're more connected to the divine plane. Oh, here. And he's going to pull two strange little handheld devices out of his pocket. He's going to flip them in half and open and start clicking a number of buttons. And he is going to close one, put it in his pocket. He's going to walk up to Thalia and hand it to her. And she's going to say, if you ever want to find me, just click the green button and then hit that first little one button. And it'll make some sound in your ear, and then you'll hear my voice. So this is called a phone. So
Okay, that's handy. Thank you.
it sounds like you already have that covered, but it means I can get you as well. So if it starts making all kinds of noise, just flip it in half and put it to your ear, and I'll be able to talk to you. I ran out of sending stones, so use modern technology.
Shame we can't use it to phone home.
Doesn't seem to work across, what did you call it? Timelines, unfortunately. But would be very helpful. Well, it looks like I've given you all a lot to swallow. So I will maybe give you some space if that's what you wish for, and we can meet up after a long rest, perhaps.
If you offered your place, I would be, happy to stay there for the night.
Cool. Sounds good. We kind of fell in on this one couple in Hollywood Hills, it's called, and it's just been this ongoing fun thing where they want to be in their home again, and we are squatting, is what they called it. It's very funny. Yeah. They called the Draconians on us once, but they didn't cut it. Well, all right, let's go. I'm learning to drive. Here, come on, I'll show you. And he'll walk out through the beads.
Is it possible I could hitch a ride?
Yeah, of course. You're all welcome. Please, it's big enough for all of us.
Fantastic.
So I'm assuming Disguise Self is probably dropping on me now at this point.
Sure.
Will we draw attention as we are right now?
Oh, most certainly. Yeah, most certainly. Well, I mean, look at all of you, for fuck's sake. And like, Katara, you look like the god of death. Thalia, you look like the god of beauty. Ouroboros, you look like the god of like might. And Gyasi looks fairly like opulent himself with various accoutrement weapons, but certainly is the most monstrous looking of your lot. He goes, I'll get by fine, because I'm, though marvelously attractive, I'm just a little humanoid, whereas all of you look like you just dropped out of heaven.
That's fair. And then I'll put on my default Goliath Fit.
Okay. Cool.
Um,
You
I
do that.
mean, I can polymorph for a bit, but that's the limit of my abilities right now. But I wonder if Thalia or I will blend in better.
Don't think about it too hard. We're just going to get in the car.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Thalia, can I talk to you for a second?
Sure, of course, Ouroboros.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll just be outside.
Thank you.
Getting the car ready. All right,
Car.
still working on that. Car. Yeah.
It's a strange word.
This is a very weird and strangely simple word at the same time. And he will wander back into the Starbucks proper, and leave you guys to your own devices. Why don't we go to a break, if you don't mind, in this moment, a slightly early break, and we'll come back soon. Yeah, and keep going with the session. So, little break.
Okay.
Put it in the same category of, you know, all of the bombers coming back in World War II and them going, okay, so we need to add some more armor. Where are the most bullet holes?
Oh yeah,
No.
survivorship mentality or some shit.
Falsity.
Yeah,
survivor bias. It's
Mhm.
no. where the bullet, for the ones that returned, where the bullet holes aren't, is where you need more armor.
Yeah.
Because the planes that didn't come back had the bullet holes there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Let's get to it. Working fast. Oh wait, there's one on this map. I don't know what I'm fucking doing. I gotta change your name. So anyway, Leonis exits the back room, and you guys are given a moment to converse, if that is what you wish. He kind of walks into the Starbucks. You guys are free to speak as needed.
All right. Thalia, put that that phone, he called it, outside of the circle, please.
Sure. Yeah, and I'll place the phone outside the circle. And yeah, what's going on?
I know this has to be a very strange experience for you, seeing him again. But I don't think we can necessarily rule out, like, I don't know, like, I don't know about the River of Time, and I mean that's not saying much because, you know, I'm who I am, but and like the gods using like time magic, like it's just not something we've encountered, and it just makes one wonder if what we're being told is completely factual or not.
Oh, you don't trust him. You don't believe him.
I want to.
Well, I guess we don't really know this version of Leonis. I admittedly just kind of blindly went along with it. I have an affinity for the man, I suppose.
Well, I don't understand a lot of how chronomancy operates. But if Leonis and his crew were sent under the guidance of the fates to go back in time or forward in time or sideways in time, whatever this is,
Mm-hmm.
the 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 fates have the ability to look at that huge skein web and make sense out of it. I don't know what it is like for you, Ouroboros, standing there looking up at all of that, but it made zero fucking sense to me. But obviously they could read it, and it was not only our past, our present, but whatever that future space was. And it could be that he and his crew were shunted specifically to this point to help us, and perhaps we're supposed to help him in return, so he can go lend an aid against Kronos again, and then get shunted so he shows up in our past but his future. I don't have the ability to understand and foresee all of that, but it is certainly inside of their skein to pull those threads and to snip what they need to snip in order to make that happen. You know, it's the same reason that I'm a firm believer that, you know, as pissed off as Zeus and the rest of them were, if I wasn't supposed to lift the ambrosia, I wouldn't have been able to.
Yeah.
I'm not saying our decisions and actions don't have import, but I think that there are significant points where our natures have been sculpted to facilitate an outcome.
Right.
When you first met Leonis, what did he say? What was he there for? Why was he choosing to help you?
Well, he wasn't there by choice at all. He was
Yeah.
in the battle with Kronos and kept getting sent to a different timeline during that battle. And that's how he ended up with us.
Well, perhaps while that didn't happen by choice, I'm wondering if Kronos and his magic isn't to some degree also bound by the fates. Otherwise, why would we have crossed paths with Leonis over and over and over? Why, when we got shunted at a time that was convenient to Kronos, do we show up in a space that is coterminous with where Leonis went early in his epic?
Well, Gyasi, I like to think it's because our love transcends time and space.
And that may indeed work for you, and that may be the binding knot that the fates put in, but that doesn't necessarily hold true for the rest of us.
That would be a beautiful story.
I flutter up into land on Jesse Soldier and just nod in agreements with him.
The fates indicated we were supposed to come to this time, so whatever Cronus attempted to do,
I think it was
the time we're supposed to be.
I have no proof, but I have a supposition. And the supposition is that unless Kronos is very specifically applying his will to a destination location, to a particular effect, if it's just a get out of my face, go away, and he's waving his hand to move somebody, then the fates have an opportunity to stack the deck. to arrange the cards in a way that is convenient to them. And I think that perhaps there's an ability or a degree of that final destination that he has no control over. I don't know. It's not my area of expertise, but it would explain why him shunting Leonis, him shunting us, have all worked exceptionally conveniently for the traveler to one degree or another. We could have very easily ended up, 50 miles out of this valley in the middle of the night and been right at a berthing at the feet of Typhon, which would be really inconvenient, not to mention probably deadly. The fact that we all got shunted to the same roof at the same time at the same place. I don't think it was Kronos's choice. I think that there was something greater binding it, and to a degree, everything has its place and its time. But it's as likely as anything that Thalia is correct. That binding tether is the strange attractor that brought us to this particular point in time. But whether that was by fate, by dint of Aphrodite's will, by the bond that those two share, it's complicated beyond my ability to comprehend. But let's go figure out what this car thing is and take a rest and go find the druids, or try to. Yeah.
Again, I don't want to take it away from you, Thalia. All I'm suggesting is that we don't let ourselves get hurt again.
I'll be careful.
And he'll walk out.
Walk out. No Leonis in the actual Starbucks anymore. But if you head outside, he will be there waiting. He's leaned up against this, not dissimilar to the thing you saw on the roof, but far less complicated looking. It is this. Yeah, sure he would. You see this like big block, like rectangular vehicle of some kind. It looks very much like a carriage, except a lot more compact. The front is flat and it has like this circle with a number of like sharp squiggly lines in the front of it, and a number of seats in the back, and like circular, like disc-like glass pieces at the front. And you don't fully understand it, but it looks like some kind of carriage. And you've seen them on the roads here, these things that are known as cars. But this one's a little different than you've seen many. And he goes, all right, everyone hop in. And he will pull a handle, the door will and slide to the side, and all of you go, ooh, because that's very interesting. You've never seen anything like that. Ooh. Yeah, he has this like really cool sliding door on the car, and inside there's this a number of seats that are covered in white fur. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. He goes, I took this from a rather disparate individual who called this his love V, and that just works for me. I don't know if it's my style, but it's the nicest thing I've seen around here. There have been nicer things, honestly, but they didn't look too safe to steal. Anyway, please hop in.
I fly in, find a seat on the top of the headrest, I guess.
I'm gonna figure you out soon. I'm just have to focus on driving first. Okay, everyone hop in. I need to remember how to turn this thing on. And he gets in the front and starts like clicking pedals and
You know how to
turning the
drive
wheel.
this, right?
He goes, yeah, I've done it a couple times. And he's like flipping through these keys and he's like trying to stuff them into this little hole in the side. He goes, no, not that one. No, not that one either. He goes, there. Oh, okay. All right. No, not that one. The whole like rumbles to life underneath you like a mad demon of sound. And he goes, there it is. All right, we got it. Okay. Now I put this thing here, and it's really tricky. You gotta do like this pedal with this thing at the same time. And then the whole car kind of lurches like that, and he goes, no, sorry, hang on. And then he goes, there we go. And he slowly, the thing begins to move. And he goes, without any horse. It's clearly a creation of magic. And he goes, there we go. See, I told you I was learning. Ready? And there's a little bit of like a lurch again. And then it keeps going. And he's like, all right, there we go. We're moving. This is great. This is like the 4th time I've done this. I'm still trying to figure out what all those lights mean. He kind of drives through this, like right behind me. He goes, oh, okay. I'm starting to think that that red light means not to go. Starting to figure that one out. Everything's fine. You guys look out the window and you see like all kinds of flashing lights and strange creatures and whatnot. And he doesn't drive for too long. He goes, okay, this is I'm gonna turn. Very interesting. All right, there we go. So he turns it on. And eventually he pulls into this like really nice. Actually, I'm gonna roll a little check for him and see how well this goes. Yeah. He goes to turn. He goes, okay, this is it. Like the slowing down part always kind of freaks me out. Oh shit. Oh fuck. And then like there's these gates, and the car just kind of smashes through those gates. And they fly open. He goes, it's fine. That's how you get through doors here.
I like
yeah,
it.
right. Yeah, it's fun, right?
They've adopted the Ouroboros method.
Right. Yeah.
It's nice to see that that people in the far future have succumbed to my knowledge and wisdom.
Right. Sure. And the car sort of lurches to a halt. He goes, yeah, these things kind of suck. I much prefer Forest Strong's. It's literally not my fault. And he like puts it in and it'll drop out of life, and he'll go, all right, I feel good. How do you all feel? Let's get out of this thing. And you can all step out. You'll find yourselves on this grassy property. I think he wants. Yeah, we're gonna. Which one would he? We're gonna say it's this one. I'm gonna stick with my guns here because he didn't really choose. He just kind of appeared. I go, so here we are. This is the place that we are renting. Yeah. Yeah, come on in. Check out my place. It kind of sucks. There's no opening. I think this is what goes for a villa around here these days. There's a baths here. Yeah, come on inside. He goes to the door. The door's like locked. It's fucking. What is it? He like knocks on it. Waits. And then Katara, who you'll recognize, you see this individual with like a gray ashen skin face and red veins, this sort of like young man with glowing orange eyes and fiery hair comes up, and he's got thieves tools out and he's like flipping through them, and then he like opens the door and he goes, hey Leonis, yeah, you made it back. Oh, then these are all of your friends. Hi, nice to meet you guys. I'm Pyre. It's real good to meet everybody. Come on in. He's got like a hammer at it. He's not as dressed in the usual day-to-day garb anymore. He's got like this big war hammer at his hip and a number of very Greek tools sort of latched onto his hip, like authentically ancient Greek tools. Probably gives you some semblance that he is from where he says he is.
Who
Leonis
is
is like, come. He says his name's Pyre. That's what his name is.
Pleased to meet you.
Yes, and he goes, oh yeah, great to meet you. Wow, you're really interesting. Are you from, I haven't actually seen anyone like you before. I hope you don't mind. I'm just like really curious.
Oh, that's quite all right. My mother is from Alexandria.
Oh, Alexandria, that's so cool. I always wanted to go to the libraries down there. Anyway, yeah, here, let's go inside. I'm just gonna kind of do an overview, but you guys make your way inside, and there's like this big, I don't know, it looks kind of a little bit like the apartment that Ouroboros and you guys trashed, in the sense that it's like this modern, alienly modern, like nice place, but there's clear signs that like this group has been through here and kind of had their way with it, like where there's certain things knocked over and like really weird out of place items have been placed here and there. Like there's like a glaive that's just leaning against a wall. There's a couple arrows in like a painting over there. And just like the place looks slightly used by people who don't get how to use the space. You guys kind of walk in, and he will sort of take you through a set of doors to like a dining room where you, again, Katara will recognize these two individuals. One has long blonde hair into a single thick braid with big blue eyes, and there's a slight resemblance to a Queen of the Gods in her face, and she's like reading a book. And then the other one is this sort of, she's now in like a tank top and is like,
so
there's like scars all down her arms, and she's this brawny, short brown haired woman. And Leonis will say, this is Nevara, pointing to the blonde, and says, and this is Thalia, pointing to the brunette. And they will stand up. Thalia will say, hey, how's it going? Good to meet you guys.
Not
Nice
so
to meet
alone,
you.
were you?
What'd you say?
I'll just lean over to Leonis and say, not so alone, were you?
It's always good to bring your friends in unfamiliar places, unfamiliar people.
Also, as an above table, that took me so long to figure out. You were like, I recognize him.
I know.
Who
It was in the
fuck? And
last
I was
scene,
like,
man. Come on.
and then you said two other individuals, and I was like, I'm so dumb.
The blonde stands up and she goes, it's so good to meet you guys. I want to know everything. I'm just, you're all very interesting. I heard about you guys. If any of you are willing, I would love to sit down and do some writing about what you guys are all about. I'm fascinated by all of you. And again, looks at Yukiyasu being a creature they have never seen before and goes, if I could say, you have a beautiful coat of fur. Where are you from? I've never heard anyone like you. You're incredible.
My mother was from the city of Alexandria.
Alexandria, Egypt. Interesting. I know that they have a cat god there. I guess that's perhaps.
And
that's
she is a priestess.
She's a priestess. Very interesting. Okay, I need to go get some books. And she just like leaves the room. She'll introduce her. She'll like introduce and bow her head to each of you and be like, "It's a pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to meet you." And then she leaves the room.
And as she sees a bird touch down the floor and transform into this full-grown woman.
Yeah, the blonde will have left by now, but you do this, and the brown-haired one, Delia, will sort of kind of like almost take note of that. Slightly impressed, but not like, wow. She's kind of like, nice to meet you too.
Good to meet you.
Lena says, okay, well, those are the friends. You've all been introduced. Feel free to use the space as you will. You are guests no longer, but also residents of this borrowed property. Huh? So just grab a place that looks comfortable, a room of your desire, and it is yours. Yeah. So, I'm gonna go get some wine from the kitchen. They have a very nice collection of wine, and get a drink, and I'll be around if anyone wants to talk.
Yeah, that sounds lovely. I
All
think
right.
I will peruse their selection myself.
Fantastic. Let's go right this way. He'll kind of go with you, Gyasi, and as he leaves the room, Thalia, he kind of looks back at you and gives you just like a smile, gives you a little classic Leonis smile. And Gyasi and Leonis will leave the room to go check the wine stores. Delia just kind of is like sizing you all up, really. She's like looking at you, Ouroboros, and just kind of like cool with you or whatever, but she's just kind of like, she just kind of stands there, just kind of like looking at all of you and doesn't really say much. I'm gonna go. Yeah, let me know if you need anything. Okay, and she'll just walk out. Is there anything anyone else would like to do, just so I know where people are going? Some of you might want to just go for a long rest or begin one.
Alicia's probably just gonna go for the cat nap and just take a long rest.
Yeah, you head up and find one of the lush beds to sleep in. I'll say, as weird as this place is, the beds are something, and the rooms are interesting as well. There's all kinds of like weird things and accoutrement, little gadgets, no matter where you go. The future's very interesting. And you can find a place to sleep easy enough. What about Ouroboros, Thalia, Katara? Any interest there?
I think could I still take a short rest while being alert, or would I have to be like not taking a short? Okay.
No, you're fully alert when you're taking a short rest. You just can't be like involved in like excessive activity is all. So you could like read a book or punch a tree, whatever.
I think Ouroboros will like sit on a couch and kind of for a second marvel at how comfortable it is, and he'll right himself, and then he'll kind of just look around at everything apprehensively.
Look around at everything apprehensively. You don't understand a lot of what is around here, like various strange glasses and pieces of furniture you've never seen, and it's just all very interesting and probably overwhelming. Yeah, you just kind of chill, sit on the couch and have a sit. Chill out. Cool.
Very good.
Yeah. Tara, Dahlia.
I will just find a room and take a long rest.
Okay. Find a room, close the door, take a long rest.
Katara's probably gonna just, I mean, she's gonna like take her long rest just like in the main room with the thing. She's not actually gonna, she's not gonna sleep, so
You sit on the opposite side of the room from Ouroboros.
She's just
sit
like
on the opposite couch and stare at him.
But one of the things I did want to try before sort of, you know, going for the like the meditative rest that she'll need, I did want to try casting commune with nature as a ritual.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
So I think she wanted to do that before she kind of went down for a rest.
Okay, you cast commune with nature. You in this moment, it's a ritual, so it's a little bit more arcane. Alicia's magic comes from within. It is like she is a part of a cycle, a recycling power of magic, but yours is a little bit more arcane. And you find the arithmetic definitely a lot more different, and you have to intensify certain portions of the spell that draw in natural magics. You find that the arithmetic of creating this ritual is a little bit more labored, but you are able to cast it, absolutely. You managed to connect. And what 3 questions would you ask?
So I want to know if there are any powerful druids. I know I'm going to get one, but powerful druids within the 3-mile area of influence of this place.
Okay. Powerful druids. Are there any powerful druids?
Yeah, it says I can find like prevalent peoples or animals. So I think she's looking for druids and when she searches the first initially.
So this is a Los Demos is a big city. Big. 3 miles doesn't begin to cover it, but in the immediate 3 miles, you are certainly going to detect an incredibly powerful druid under your own roof, of course. You are going to find that there is a much more meager novice power under the same roof. Beyond the bounds, there is no one else within 3 miles that would be considered a powerful or any kind of druid, really.
Okay. And then I'm gonna try to reach for any strong influences of like other planes of existence. Whether it's portals or just like if there's anything within that, again, that radius that sparks out to me of kind of unique.
Nothing within 3 miles. There's no extensive influence from the other planes within 3 miles of your current location.
Okay. And then just want I don't know if I can determine location of powerful undead, feature major source of drinking water. I mean, I'll just look for major sources of nature within, if there's any within 3 miles.
You are in the heart of downtown Los Damian. There are no great sources of nature, unfortunately. I'm sorry to say.
No, no worries. I didn't think I would learn much beyond the first 2. So.
Fair enough.
So yeah, she'll take that information and then she'll go to meditate for her rest.
You will go ahead and do that. The blonde Navarra will return to the room with a stack of books and sit them down. You'll notice that all of Leonis's party doesn't seem to carry weapons, which is weird. And she sort of sits down with her books and like sees you just kind of like sitting there, Katara, and you're like meditation, kind of like looking around a little strangely. And she's like curiously interested in that, kind of like lets you be, but like seems like a very curious individual. At some point in your rest, Ouroboros, she'll like see you just kind of chilling there, not doing anything. And she'll kind of like move down the table and be like, "Hey, you're also, I mean, admit I've never seen someone quite like you with the black markings and the size. You look like a stone giant a little bit. Is it possible that you have some kind of blood relation to a stone giant?"
Yeah, I've got some giant blood in me for sure.
Wow. You only hear about demigods, but you don't hear about demi-giants, which is a very plausible possibility, right? Because if you think about it, the giants are children of titans just like gods are. So it makes sense. If anything, giants might just be a derogatory term for less powerful gods that were produced from other titans that were not Kronos. So anyway, that's all to say that you're very interesting. Do you mind if I ask you some questions to write down in my book?
Please.
Okay. First, can you grow hair? And she will start just asking you like a plethora of questions that are anywhere from like the very innocently like interested in your physique, power, to more complex things like how do you find it interacting with your godly blood, and then getting into like your personal history, and just really just dissecting you as your entire history and biology and interactions and everything. She's just like, as long as you'll indulge her, and once you start to seem annoyed, like even the slightest bit, like, okay, that's not, like, without even saying it, she will just like put a dot on the page
What?
and be like, thank you so much. I'm gonna just let you sit now.
Yeah. I think I don't think he would get annoyed by her. It's quite rare that he gets asked things about
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah.
Maybe a little like, what are you getting this information for at first? But
Yeah.
um,
I will say, like, whether I'm portraying it well or not,
Mhm.
there's despite her like quizzical, like almost like studious, like academic individual, there is like a level of charisma behind it where it almost makes it's almost like like interviewer, like charismatic game, not a game show host, or like not a late night
Welcome
host
to
either, but
Oprah.
like,
Welcome to Oprah's
yeah,
couch.
a little bit, yeah, where she's like very interested to hear what you have to say and like expands on it. It's like, well, how was that for you? It's more than just like an academic record of you as you as a subject, but it's also very like very personal too, where she's like, well, how did you feel about that? And like, it's a mix between interested in the academia of who and what you are and the personal interest of your story and the things you've been through. And it's she's like a really good interviewer is what you take in. You feel like you don't feel like you're being perhaps don't feel like you're being like it's like a horrible invasion of privacy, and she knows very insightful, knows when to like back off of certain subjects.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah, I would give her whatever she asked for.
Yeah, and she will happily speak with you. A very good conversationalist. There's not a lot of like awkward pauses or anything. She goes, you're telling me that you are going to be responsible for the next line of Amazonian warriors.
Um, yeah, at least um, at least 13 of them by my count.
Wow, that's. I mean, what was that like? I mean, I'm sure there was good parts, but like that sounds like a lot of work. I don't know if I would be that. You know, that's a lot of work for being in the middle of a war. Was that like intentional? I know they can be a bit forceful.
Uh, it was it was a mutual decision.
Okay, good. I've been to Themyscira, and they're very forward. They don't like to take no for an answer, so
No,
that's probably more
they
information.
don't. Um,
And she'll move on from that. She goes, now this King of the Giants thing, that's incredible. We never considered that. But you are King of the Giants, or were King of the Giants. And she'll keep going, and she'll interview you and maybe make you feel a little more at home. Okay, we'll move away from that. Yossi, yeah, you and Leonis sort of go through the wine stock, and he's like, obviously I don't know the vintage. I mean, I just got here, but this one was pretty good. And you guys will find a bottle of wine. He'll show you to like the balcony, and you guys can sit down. Was there anything that you wanted to talk to him about? Because he will just make it very friendly and ask you like, you have to tell me about the ambrosia thing. And you can shoot the shit about stories.
And I will happily relay that story, but since I have him privately, your future self, yeah, I guess I'm gonna go with that. and Thalia had a very close relationship.
Really?
When you had an alteration with Kronos and he unwound you in time, she took that particularly hard. So go easy.
I do
But
appreciate
go.
But go. Okay. I wow. I very much appreciate the heads up. I am glad to have my back at. Wow.
She is deserving of the title and splendor of grace. And part of that is natural. Part of it, I think, is due to the bond that you two share. And it's important. I don't understand all of it, and it's not mine to understand. But it's important.
I was unwound from time.
Indeed.
Kronos really is an asshole. I mean, I knew that, but
phenomenal
asshole. Absolutely.
I think he is not as unfettered as he might be. You captured a piece of his power to be brought to here. At a later point in time, you are going to have a conflict with him. I don't understand the details. I was never made privy to it other than it happened. And he is going to pitch you across time. And that will be when you first encounter us at the beginning of our epic. We're, in theory, at the beginning of your epic and near the end of ours, perhaps.
Huh.
And when Kronos is at the beginning of his second epic, when he rose from Tartarus, that's when he pitched you across time yet again. Whether that was a terminal instance or not, we really couldn't tell. We have no ability to know to whence you came or whence you got shunted. But Thalia took it as you were lost and gone. But I think that the answer is perhaps more complicated. I don't think as much as he would like it to be, Kronos is unfettered by the machinations of fate. Otherwise, when we were in the middle of a protracted brawl, and in all of his arrogance, he just pushed the lot of us across time, and for us to randomly, out of all of time, land here, and for you at some future point to get shunted and across all of time show up where we were just beginning, and we we travel with a son of Zeus named Ouroboros.
Okay, I wanted to ask about that. The gods are the same in your time. You're
Yes.
you're all gods, and okay. So Aphrodite,
New Olympians,
she's
effectively.
okay. That makes sense. New Olympians. Well, you are quite the herald of fate, aren't you?
I have chosen and been chosen to watch. Everything has a place and an order, and it will apparently be my chosen fate to make sure that those things remain where they need to be. And clearly, Kronos tries to run roughshod over that, but there are strings that tug the shape back towards where it's supposed to be, destined to be. I don't claim to have any answers whatsoever, but there's enough coincidence to make things suspect.
I'm going to need to take some time to unravel the mystery of your story, but it is good to know of it. I suppose I have some things to talk about with Thalia.
Embrace her and embrace the power that is inherent to your lineage. It will prove important. And you should take the rest of that wine and make your way.
If you think that's the best thing to do.
I think that she could use some Circes.
Okay. And he will take the bottle, and he is going to go scrounge up 2 fresh glasses somewhere, and he will bow his head to you, and he'll say, "You are. I never met a god quite like you."
Well, I'm technically not a god. I just stole the ambrosia because it was there to be stolen.
You might be my second favorite god. And he gives you like a pat on the shoulder. And we'll say the bottle is still, maybe there's 2 bottles and one was half full from earlier in the day, and he kind of makes sure your glass is topped up and give you a nod, and he will take off. Indeed, Thalia, there will subsequently, per the guidance of Gyasi the Watcher, be a knock on your door.
Okay, yeah, I'll go answer the door.
You will see Leonis, young Leonis, with a half-full bottle of wine. He's got a fresh one. He's got a fresh bottle of wine, uncorked, and 2 fresh wine glasses. And he'll smile and he'll say, the fates have sent me to your door, and if I know you're sleeping and it's very rude to awaken a woman at rest, but um, something told me it was important that we had some time together. Would you want to share a little bit of wine with me?
Yeah, I think I'd like that very much. Sure.
Okay. Well, let's find some place to drink this wine. Right. Okay. And he will take you. I think he'll like take you out like onto the grounds, in fact, kind of away from the house. And they're nice grounds and it's gated, so you don't like see all the cars. Like you hear the din of the city all around you. He'll kind of pour two glasses and he'll hand you yours and he'll say, "They're not Killick's, but I kind of like them, these glasses. Weird."
They are different. There's much different here. Admittedly, I couldn't stand your contraption that you transported us in earlier. I don't think that's
It's not my favorite either, but I also am a great fan of trying new things. So we must pursue the desires of the moment sometimes.
sure. And I know all about them.
So your friend Yossi is quite the storyteller.
That is full of fascinating stories um, and creates many of them himself. He's a very fascinating individual.
Yes, and he told me some of what your time has been like. Uh, a little different from mine, but the same in many ways.
Do you think we're from the same time?
I have no illusions that you and your group have superior wisdom and intelligence. My God, did someone get shot? I'm gonna change this ambience. Sorry. We got like a city ambience going, and there was gunshots, and that's distracting. Um,
Do
he
they have
says,
guns in this world?
you'll have to find out. He says, okay, I'm just gonna turn it off. There's an ambulance now. This is fucking crazy. Okay, I apologize there. Um, he will say, well, which I have no doubt that you all have a superior intelligence and wisdom to what we have in our group as of now. Your talk of timelines and what Gyasi has told me, I think we're from similar but different worlds, no? You told me that some future version of me has appeared in your past. Is that right?
That's right. I'm not so sure it is you, though. I mean, the the timeline of you. I'm still trying to puzzle that out. We don't have a river of time in our world, and I mean maybe that's something that's new. But when my Leonis would visit, he said that things were not the exact same in his time compared to my time. And so that makes me think that he was in a different reality entirely. And I wonder if perhaps that's the case here. Um, I don't know that we are from the same timeline.
What makes you so certain?
Well, I'm not
That I'm
certain.
not your Leonis. I like to think that I'm one of a kind, and there's only one timeline where someone like me could exist.
Maybe you are, but I don't want to hope for that. I was told to be careful.
I'm told Aphrodite exists in your world as well, yes?
Yes.
I would never hazard to tell a god something or try and teach a god a lesson, but perhaps I might simply remind you that love is for the bold, that matters of the heart are not for the timid, that if you're going to pick a rose, you need to be ready to be pricked by thorns. I could see that you've been hurt, and I'm sorry that you were hurt, and that if I have some way, some part in that, I must become an incredibly foolish demigod to hazard harming someone like you.
Hmm. If, I wouldn't trade it. The pain for the love. It's worth it. It is worth it. And it wasn't you that hurt me. It was Kronos.
Well, we'll have to make him pay for that, huh?
He'll pay. He'll pay. He'll return you to me, and then he'll die. And my war will finally be over. I grow tired of the battles and the fighting and the death and the loss. I don't think I'm meant for war. Not the way Ouroboros is, and Katara and Gyasi and Alicia. I'm not like them. I don't have the tolerance for it.
From what I've heard of you, it sounds like you underestimate yourself. You have seem to have great power in all of these things, and have come so far. But I understand that. If I might ask, what is it that you think are meant for then? What is it that you're looking forward to?
I think I'm meant to love and be loved. I think that's the purpose of my life and existence, and I hope to find such a simple life one day.
A god who is seeking a simple life.
Maybe simple's not the right word, but less battle torn.
It's Do you want to perhaps you might provide me some divine wisdom? I mean, I'm going to see you again one day. Apparently when I am stronger or more something or other. Would you like to tell me something? Give me some advice that I might carry with me?
She'll whisper in his ear. She'll kind of get like a coy smile and lean in and whisper. I love it when you do that thing to my neck. And it goes something like this. And she'll, I don't know, she'll give him like a little kiss or something on her neck.
Yeah. You will hear a small breathy sound come from him as you are ever his superior in these things, in these times. For once, you were the novice, and him, the great master of these things. And now the roles are very much reversed, as you quickly find out. And if you wish to explore that with Leonis, he's not entirely experienced. He is an acolyte of Aphrodite, but he will be very careful and very measured in the progression of that evening, and very sensual, very, very, very caring and passionate in the act. If you wish to pursue it with him,
Yeah, I think there will be like a certain sadness to Thalia, and that she'll enjoy the evening with Leonis.
yeah. And as we fade to black on this, I won't go into crass detail, but I will say between the god of grace and the demigod of Aphrodite, there is a conversation that lies within the act itself. You've spoken to Leonis much and know a great deal about him. You know that his philosophy around his role in the world as a demigod of love was not to have frivolous sexual relations. It was a method of healing for him to give to people, to show care and to mend broken hearts. And you see this in him in its most purest form, without the duty of having to prepare you for the worst, or the godly rhetoric, or all of the other pressures that he dealt with in his life. This is just sort of Leonis, as he always talked about when the younger self and the older self he always spoke of, as you ever knew of him. And he's certainly not as experienced as or capable as he used to be in this act, but he is very, in his way here, caring and soothing and passionate, but uses these moments of compassion, these moments of fervor to heal, to try and heal. And it's very caring, very close, very personal, very look in the eye, very soft. And maybe there is some catharsis for Thalia, perhaps. Now, with that, shall we do some rolls?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. Name me a con saving throw.
11.
DC is 13. You will both have advantage because of many reasons, but we will see how well you do. Okay, rolls pretty good. What do you get?
I rolled a 3 for 15.
Okay. He rolled a 25. He was
Yeah, can I re-roll? Because I've got.
sure reroll.
That's so sad.
What did you roll? What was your total?
I got a 15.
You, I think yeah, you still pass, but you can use luck if you wish to reroll.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll use
He
the
is,
luck.
yeah. No way.
I got 13.
So 15. We're sticking on a hot 15.
Any more luck?
Seems that luck's run dry.
Yeah.
Perhaps the point is in this moment that this isn't like a like how intense, like how many orgasm kind of thing. It's not like that kind of interaction. the conversation it's more soothing than that. And perhaps the rolls speak for themselves. You still pass. Like you're still going to gain advantage on charisma checks against Leonis for the next 2 days. But he understands that you're the one in need of healing, and he takes the lead, and he makes it a compassionate, soft, soothing catharsis experience for you. And you let yourself fall into that role of being soothed and being um, brought to perhaps a state of healing. And maybe those roles should reflect maybe the catharsis involved in this, that he brings forth such care and attention to you that maybe there's something gained from this interaction for you, Thalia. And maybe in the next interaction, you can then boggle his mind of what kind of master you are in this act. But a long rest is had by all. Ouroboros, you would have had the short rest and completed it. Would you have liked to have long rest as well? You did.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. You will all get a long rest. There's a very minor inconvenience in the night where this Yuan-Ti couple shows up with a couple of draconians. The draconians are kind of fat and they're holding onto their belts, and they're like, "Yeah, you got to you have to vacate the premises. This is not that kind of thing." And uh, probably like Pyre's like, "Oh no, like thanks so much for the help, but please go to sleep. This is like our fun thing. We're the hosts. Let us deal with this." And they, through various magical nonsense manners, just go enjoy the chaos of dealing with that situation. And indeed do. You are not disturbed this evening. You get a long rest. There's no major altercations to worry about. Long rest is had. You awaken the next morning, and it is still dark out as promised. The sun does not rise, for the chariot of fire has been destroyed. There is no sun to warm the night. There is no moon in the stars either. But here you are in Los Demos. They have the radio in the Leonis's party, who, by the way, would have been known as the Children of Greece. So the Children of Greece have the radio going pretty much at all times, and you're going to hear various news announcements about, like, this is an ad from the Viper Room on the Sunset Strip, Beverly Hills. Dance, music, clubs, performance. Monster folk in Hollywood are welcome. Enjoy the evenings here in Los Demos. And then introduce some song. And you'll hear various sets of music and news bulletins and such. Cool. You awaken the next morning. Leonis is there. Well, Leonis will awaken with you, Thalian, again. A very compassionate rising. He doesn't like leave you like in bed. He wakes before you, but you wake up and he's like in the corner with his lyre, just kind of like playing you awake with some gentle strings. And you will all arise and join together for a very flavorful, almost excessively flavorful breakfast of various things from around the house. The Children of Greece kind of laugh. Sort of stern Delia lightens up with her group around, and Navara's going on about her. She's like, he has lived the most interesting life. Did you know that he defeated Palas and then fought down the leader of, I think it was the Fire Giants? The leader of, no, it was the leader of the Storm Giants. Fought him down in single combat to assert his reign over the. Why didn't we think of that? And it's just like super enthusiastic about all the stuff she's learned about Ouroboros last night. And all of them kind of crack jokes and laugh. And the Pyre guy's like at the table, like actively working on something, some kind of arcane device. And yeah, you guys can all have breakfast. Leonis will look down at the table at all of you guys and say, "So, what are we thinking for today? We all wanted to go to Whiskey a Go and perhaps find these Demithots, or was there something else that you wish to do? I know we have some plans. I will be happy to be your continued escort, but my friends will need to have other things to do around the city. We have some of our own goals and research in mind.
Yeah. After Alicia groggily wakes up and everything, she's still not feeling great being in the city and in here and everything.
Who are you, by the way? He just
Who's
kind
that?
of appeared. This is Leonis. He's like, who? By the way, Alicia, this is Leonis. This is that guy who showed up. Yeah, okay.
Hey, yeah, you're gonna see me later on.
That's what I hear. I assume you were the bird. Nice to meet you.
I was the bird. I'm many things to many people.
Okay. Okay. Understood. So, returning to my original point, what's the plan?
I'm okay with going to the bar.
Okay.
And try to find druids too, right?
That's where they're supposed to be. I mean, well, it's a rumor that the demi-dogs hang around there, because that's where a lot of humanoids are.
Oh, Ryan, would I have any ability to try and recognize the presence of any druids?
Make me an Arcana or Nature check.
Okay, Arcana 25.
You definitely recognize. It's not nearly as intense as you. There are a couple. There you notice the threads of Gaia's power, coming from Leonis, but more prominently and in a more sort of exacting way, as you've recognized in Rangers, the blonde, Nevara. You recognize in this moment through the threads of arcane power linked to Gaia that Nevara is a fairly proficient ranger. Certainly nowhere near the level of power that you all possess, or you yourself possess, but she's a skilled ranger, and Leonis has a little druid mingled in.
Oh, Leonis is a little druid mingled in with him.
Uh-huh.
Oh, not bad.
He did when he came to visit you guys as well.
Ah, not bad. Not bad.
Thanks,
So,
not bad yourself.
So would would I be able to notice any druidic energy if I went to this place?
It's definitely like an active like search. It's not like because you're like feeling the power of nature around you. So I would say, yeah, but it's an active check. Like if you're gonna like look at someone and try and feel the threads of nature from them.
Yeah, we'd have to go there ourselves, but I think the druids would be a good place to begin our search. I'm, I'd be able to sniff them out. But oh yeah, by the way, Leonis, I'm a druid. In case you haven't noticed, haven't figured it out yet.
I noticed the burning stick and the lack of clothing that isn't furs and such. I gathered a certain druidic vibe from you. But thank you for the.
Yes, I'm usually in a better mood, but I really don't like this place.
Yeah, it's like a wet blanket over nature.
It's almost hard to breathe at times.
So, has your party been to the lands of Gaia yet?
That would be yes, we went there. We've only been there once. But yes.
And
well, I've been there more than once, but he's been there. But they've been there once.
Okay. And I'm curious, did you meet Valerie while you were there?
Yeah, yes, I met Valerie there. She's wonderful. She exists in your world too.
Maybe it's this. I don't know. I think. I don't know. I'm so confused by the time thing. But yes, there is a Valerie that we know from the lands of Gaia. She's the Archdruid of Circle of the Lands.
Oh, I don't know about any circles. I know that she's the apprentice of Ian Warren, and he's the Archdruid of the Lands of Gaia, and they are the two druids that rule the realm. Well, rule. They insist they're not rulers and just sort of mentors, but I think they're being humble.
I wonder how much time had passed between you now and when we met you. I'm curious.
Well, there's only one miserable bastard who knows that answer, and, well, if I see him, I won't be talking to him too much. I have talked to him. Did I ever tell any of you? Well, I mean, you probably already know all my secrets, but early on, I fooled Kronos for like 3 straight days. It was, I'm pretty proud of it. It's sort of my crowning achievement. It's why he hates me.
How did you fool Kronos for 3 days?
Well, we went to an island known as Ayaya, and there we met a sorceress known as Circe. And she was turning sailors and men into pigs and animals and such. And we defeated him, and we found that there was a stone that she was using to communicate to Kronos. And we wanted to keep him off of our trail, so I pretended to be Circe on this communication daily update thing for 3 days, and I managed to fool him for 3 days straight until he caught on to the ruse. So that's my claim to fame, or at least my early claim to fame. I've done many impressive things since then.
You still have this stone.
No, I don't have the stone anymore. I think I do have it back at our home, but it's a momentum now. It has lost its magic. When he found out, he kind of cut it off.
Can I pull out my oh my god, what is it called? The lover's blade and peer into it?
You peer into it. Very interesting. Huh. Jesus. Throwing me a curveball.
Hmm.
Huh. Okay, cool. That's so weird. Sure. Yeah, you see this Leonis in that blade. As he's talking to you, parallel, you see him in the reflection of the blade.
So this is my Leonis, but I don't think this is our world or our timeline.
He looks at you and he goes, "That's a pretty blade." He will go into his satchel and he will pull out 2 identical daggers and put them on the table in front of him.
Well, you'll never guess where I got mine from.
I'm going to be so jealous to hear.
Yeah, I think Thais figured it out. Like, this is her Leonis, and she kind of, I don't know, is excited about that.
Yeah, you guys would all, like, I think the whole table notices this, like, that silent kind of, like, flirtatious look between Thalia and Leonis, a silent, sort of affectionate conversation. Delia's gonna go, "So anyway, what are we going to do today?" And Leonis kind of like, she's sitting like right across from him, and he kind of like, right, we should. And he packs the daggers up, looks back at you. He goes, right. So, we're gonna go do some morning drinking. I usually don't do a lot more. I do a little bit of morning drinking, but not too much. If that's the plan, we go do that.
Before we go, what do you all know about the Griffin Observatory?
Pyre's gonna go, oh, yeah, we went there. Lots of griffins. I know, big surprise, but there's like definitely a ton of griffins. But it's really cool because it tells you all kinds of stuff about stars, and a couple of the Titans. So it's actually like a really cool place. They have a telescope there, and it's really cool. And then he starts like going into like nails on a chalkboard brain description of like how a telescope works and its functionality and like the gears and everything. And at a certain point, like a hand goes over to him from like Delia and just like patting him on the face until she like covers his mouth and kind of like realizes he was talking too much, and he'll kind of stop. And she goes, so there you go. It has been thoroughly explained. You can see the stars there. It's some kind of sky viewing place, and there's some information about titans of sky and prophecy and things there.
Okay. Before we go, it's worth a visit, definitely. Before we go, a quick question. To Leonis, how did you get into the lands of Gaia?
Now that is a tale. Me and my friends came to this little place called Kerstos. The gods had sent us there because we needed somewhere to ground ourselves and operate. Our ship had been destroyed, so they began building. I was going through a very hard time. I was struggling actually very deeply. I had recently experienced a certain betrayal from some people I thought I could trust. Not these people. These people are wonderful, and I would die for them. But I was a little lost, and I found myself wandering into the woods, into the wilderness north of Keristos, and I roamed there for quite a while. And I was bathing in a river with a beautiful waterfall, and I found myself falling through it and into a world like no other, with trees and green and grass, and met a certain, again, a certain redhead elven girl who berated me with insults and immediately drew my attraction. And he turns back and says, and I think I found something to fill that piece of myself there. So, fate, I suppose, the fates sent me there. How did you find the lands of Gaia? Looking at you, Alicia.
I was brought there.
Weren't we all?
An archdruid found me and brought me there. And now I'm one of them.
Oh, you're an archdruid, are you?
Yeah. Oh yes. Circle of the Moon.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds very cool.
Exactly. It was a bit. Oh, it's very cool. Very, very fucking cool.
I have no doubts.
Alicia,
Yes?
how long were the circles established for in the lands of Gaia?
Ryan, how long would I know that?
Well, that predates the sort of exit from the Greek lands. That predates the druids' sort of flight from Greece. As far as the history started to get a little wishy-washy at that point. But as far as the druidics' understanding of their history, they've always been a part of the way of things. Certain circles have appeared at different times, but there was always at least the circle of the land and the circle of the moon. And then their functions have changed here and there throughout history. and different circles have been added throughout time, but there's always been a understanding that the circles helped, like the division of the circles helped maintain the balance of nature.
Mm-hmm. And I explained that to them since it's almost as long since Gaia had followers, and she needed us to help maintain nature itself.
But you're saying, Leonis, that there weren't circles when you visited the lands of Gaia?
No, there was only Valerie and Ianwar. They were the only two established druids there.
Perhaps they were the only established ones he saw.
They were pretty. It's possible, but they were. I don't know. They were pretty open about their world. I mean, not entirely open. It sounds to me that they had a similar thing where the gods weren't so welcome, and they were a little reclused. And by a little reclused, I mean had totally evaded the sight of the gods in the Greek world. But I never saw, and I traveled pretty thoroughly into the lands of Gaia. I never saw another druid other than Valerie or Ianwar.
Well, now you've seen another.
I've seen another. And she's very different than the other two. If you have a Valerie in your time, I expect you two got along.
Of course I do. She's amazing.
Okay, there we go. Good. At least your world has a little bit of taste. Having Valerie in it.
It's like,
and me, of course, at certain times.
Well, everything's better with Valerie in it.
And all of you kind people, I see Ouroboros. I do not dissuade. You are all very gorgeous, powerful people. That is slightly intimidating. It seems that our worlds are similar but different.
But the Valerie we met also met you.
Oh. Maybe I went to go find her under your nose when I get there next time. I don't know. I don't have those answers yet.
It's all very, very confusing. You haven't set up a stronghold right outside of that waterfall, have you?
No. We don't want to let people know it's there. But Karistos is the city we call home. It was a fishing village, and we kind of transformed it into something a bit bigger and a bit better. To rival Athens, perhaps, one day.
That's what I meant. Sorry, I got mixed up. So you do call it home. I'm just trying to piece together the time, and I don't think I'm doing a good job.
Well, let's not live too heavily in the future past. And let's live us are now in the present future. God, I can't wait to kill fucking Kronos. He's an asshole.
And you're gonna have to get in line.
I'll get in line. But it sounds like one day I don't want to think about this anymore. It's starting to hurt my head.
Well, let me share this with you, because I didn't get an opportunity to share it with my other companions. Just before he shunted me, I guarantee you he will never forget me. He will not be fathering any more children.
You castrated Kronos?
I struck him a significant blow.
Right in the scepter.
Leonis definitely is on his face. He's like, yeah, but under the table, his leg folds over and he's like, has a little look on his face of like, oh. He goes, but hey, if there's anyone who deserved it, it's that bastard. So I am devoted to a god as a literal priest, but you're pretty cool. We don't have one of you in my world. Maybe we should get one.
It needed doing.
Yes. Didn't doing.
I'm curious. So, was your plan to go to this bar initially, or did you have other threads that you were wanting to follow? What did
We had other threads. There's quite a few, in fact. Nevar and Delia intend to go to Exposition Park. Nevar takes over and she goes, "Oh yes, I'm very excited to go there. It's they have a natural history museum and what they call the Californian Science Center and the Memorial Coliseum, and there's all of this detail about the current the current pantheon, ancient mythology, histories about here, natural histories about how the ecosystem functions in relationship to the monster threat. It's going to be a lot of very interesting things to see about how it works, and maybe you can learn a little bit about this and that." And Delia is just kind of like looking at her, like, you get the sense she doesn't understand. She doesn't, not a bookish type, but seems to enjoy her enthusiasm. Pyre's like, "Oh, I wanted to go there. I just, man, can I come?" And they're like, "Yeah, of course you can come. Of course you can come." And he goes, "Okay, great. And Namus goes, "Okay, well there you go. Those three are gonna go nerd out at the library." And I would normally nerd out the library, but my sources of knowledge that I desire are people, and well, you are probably the most interesting people in the city, so I will be going where you want to go, if you would have me.
We would love to have you.
Well, you're going to have to protect me because you're all so much stronger and braver and
Just hide behind
hot.
the. Right back at you. Just remember to hide behind the big guy.
Okay. He looks over at you, Ouroboros.
I'm sure he's been looking over at me the whole time.
Because, I mean, I've been trying to keep my eyes in respectful places, but I'll need to know where you are if I'm going to hide behind you.
I kind of give a glance over to Thalia.
I share.
And he looks at Valley with the most excited look on his face. And he goes, "I see why we get along so well. I mean, I already did, but it just gets better and better."
He's a Spartan.
Oh, say no more.
Why'd you have to fucking tell him that?
I've not had a Spartan.
Now's your chance.
Hey, we've got some really pressing matters to attend to, no?
Yeah, we do. We really do.
One other question that I have before we go. You mentioned that the weapons of Zeus, Hades, and Poseidon are somewhere. Do you have any ideas of where? Or if there's any other weapons of rumors?
Leonis continues to make googly eyes across the table at Ouroboros, but luckily, Navarra will pipe in. She says, "I'm not totally sure, but that's why we're going to Exposition Park. And after that, we intend to go to the Cathedral of our Great Father of Monsters, which is dedicated to Typhon." Oh, excuse me. No. Did I get that right? Yeah, Typhon, the father of monsters, which is dedicated to Typhon, which hopefully should have a little bit of lore concerning all of that. I have reason to believe that they're not here on the material, like, world plane, and they're in the other planes here and there. So I'm trying to track down some rumors and legends about where they might be. Delia goes, "Yeah, it's too bad that we can't contact our parents. Sometimes they throw us a bone. I think that's kind of what we were hoping with all of you, your gods and all. Hope that maybe you could all throw us a bone, but it seems like you don't know a lot yet. So."
And your parents are?
Oh, well, I'm and Navarra will pipe in for Delia. She goes, "She's actually a child of both Athena and Artemis."
Oh.
It's a really fun story. It's a really, really fun story. I am a child of Hera, And Leonis is obviously a child of Aphrodite, in case you didn't notice. And Pyre, in case you also didn't notice, he goes, "Oh, I'm a child of Hephaestus. Yeah, my dad's Hephaestus. Yeah, he's great."
I had a
Just-
feeling.
And he just kind of like smiles at you. You get the sense he's got his father's pension for socialization, which is it doesn't exist as intensely. And Navarro will nod and say, "Yeah, so that's us."
Sorry, Navarro was Hera's daughter?
Yeah, daughter of Hera.
Okay.
Hera, Hera did, and your father isn't Zeus?
They all kind of look around the table at each other, and Navarro looks back at you and shrugs. Goes, "I mean, he goes around and fucks everybody. What's wrong with my mom doing that,
I'm
huh?"
just saying. Okay. Like she
Zeus.
just says, okay.
Gander.
What's wrong with my mom
He's
doing
do-
it? I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was he trying to say something about my mom? Nothing. Like,
No.
she's good.
Not saying anything. Okay.
If we're going to be in two different places, let me give you something to let me to keep in touch. And I think
Well,
I will try to pull off my fingernails and they're not coming off.
Yeah, you start tugging at the ends of your fingers, and they all kind of look at you with like what's she doing? Kind of look on their faces. But I'll say, as you're attempting to do this and focus on that power, you do feel like a new magic sort of swirling around your hand, and you feel the ability to manifest perhaps a token that might provide similar abilities, if you wish.
Yeah, and I like to think of it in a sense of like she's trying to do this, and then this other, in her periphery, she kind of sees those little bit of threads. And I think she'd like to take them and like weave into a sort of symbol, and then it kind of imparts it on their shoulder, one of their shoulders.
I imagine it's almost like those like Wiccan voodoo-esque, almost like tree branches or thatch kind of wrapped into a symbol. Yeah. And you hand it to them, and Navarra takes it, and she's like looking it over, and she thinks it's the most interesting thing in the world. And Delia is like clearly like, okay, that was weird. Look on her face. Pyre and Navarra are both looking over it like, wow, this is the coolest. Like, he's like, look at it, and he's like putting like a little glass over his eye, and he goes, "That's like, yeah." They're like kind of whispering amongst themselves about like the magic ingrained in your talisman and how interesting that is to them.
And then, well, at least now I'll be able to either talk to you or see where you are once a day.
Delia, as they're like thinking it's awesome, Delia will go, "Yeah, thanks. We'll let you know if we need to call on a god." But they're right. We should probably get going. And she kind of like reaches over and just like takes the like little Wiccan token from Avar Empire, and they're both like, "Oh," and she like puts it in a pouch and like stands up. She's like, "Hey, let's go." And they all sort of wave goodbye and whatever and file out the door. And Leonis will say, "I'm told that my the contraption that we arrived in isn't the most comfortable. If you wish, we can hail what is known as a taxi. Those big yellow cars. They're apparently much more. They're experts at using these machines, and they're much more smooth."
I'm game for anything.
Cool. Let's go driving. And you guys will get up, and Leonis will continue to fidget with the vehicle and eventually get it to work. And you guys will roll into the city of Los Angeles, or Los Damian. And I think that's where we will call our session to an end. Quite the info dump session. My apologies for that.
Exposition.
My apologies for the intense exposition. if it
you had
was
a
a
lot
little
to
much.
explain.
There was a lot to
Yeah.
explain, a lot you wanted to explain. So
Colin didn't miss too much.
yeah, Colin,
Hey.
we're in the future.